trying to give Denise one more minute, but we'll go ahead.
Recording in progress.
Brenda, you got me tickled. The November 19th, 2025 meeting of the Greenville County Planning Commission is hereby called to order. At today's meeting, we will review rezoning applications, subdivision applications, and other items brought to us by staff. Unless the commission members have a question for the applicant, we will not accept additional public comment on the rezoning applications. The rezoning cases were presented at a public hearing, and that was the opportunity to hear public comments in favor of or in opposition to the rezoning cases. At today's meeting, the Commission will be making its recommendation on the rezoning cases. Detailed information on each of the cases was provided to us in our electronic agenda package in advance of this meeting. Our recommendations will be forwarded to County Council's Planning and Development Committee for their consideration and decision. The subdivision matters we will review today were previously reviewed by the Subdivision Advisory Committee. At that meeting, the reviewing agencies presented their preliminary findings to staff. Based on comments from the Subdivision Advisory Committee, along with a review of applicable sections of the ordinance, staff has prepared recommended conditions of approval for each preliminary plat. These recommendations will be provided to the Planning Commission as part of its review of each request. Anyone wishing to address the Commission on subdivision matters should have signed up to speak. Again, you cannot address the Commission during this meeting on a rezoning request. The official public hearing on these cases has already been held. I'd like to welcome everybody to our meeting, and I'd also like to welcome our newest Planning Commissioner, Jim Moore. Okay, I was waiting for you to say something. All right, thank you, Jim. Mr. Matosevic, our invocation, please.
Let's pray. Dear Lord, we thank you for the opportunity to come and to serve here today, and I pray that you would give us as commissioners wisdom to know how best to deal with the matters that will be before us today. Be with each one who speaks, be with our staff, and we pray, Lord, that all of these affairs will be done in a civil way that contributes to the betterment of our county. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, sir. Minutes of our October meeting. Anybody have any revisions?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes as submitted.
All righty. Mr. Holland made a motion to approve our minutes from last month's meeting, and
I'll second.
Ms. Phillips has the second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All righty. Rezoning.
Good afternoon. The following is a brief explanation of the Planning Commission process to consider rezoning cases. Each docket will be presented, including the requested zoning, specific details of the site, as well as maps and photos of the site and surrounding area. The presentation will conclude with the staff recommendation. The staff recommendation is a result of feedback from a team of internal and external county stakeholders who review each case. After each presentation, the Planning Commission may either vote with or against staff's recommendation, in addition to offering any additional amendments to the recommendation. All items forwarded from today's meeting will be heard by the Planning and Development Committee in person in the committee room in the North Building, which is scheduled for December 1st, 2025 at 5 p.m. The first docket tonight is CZ-2025-071. The property is located on White Horse Road and Piney Road in Greenville. The applicants are Ken Katsimpiris and Nikhil Patel of Three Brothers Rental Properties. The 1.81 acre subject property consists of one parcel and is located approximately 0.83 miles south of the intersection of White Horse Road, Highway 25, and Ferris Bridge Road, Highway 183, and currently contains vacant land. This is the zoning of the surrounding area. Subject property outlined here is zoned R10, Single Family Residential District. The request is for C1 Commercial District. You can also see the surrounding property zones. The applicant states that the proposed land use is commercial. This is the subject site and photos showing the area surrounding the subject site. Under the planned Greenville County Comprehensive Plan, future land use designation of suburban edge, small-scale commercial is listed as a secondary use type. However, this area type stresses low intensity and well-integrated development patterns. Under the Berea Community Plan, the site is given the future land use designation of low-density residential but Highway 25 is listed as a transit corridor to contain a balance of residential and commercial uses. Staff is of the opinion that while both plans can offer some support for small-scale commercial development, the proposed site is largely surrounded by an established residential neighborhood, and a rezoning to C1 commercial district could change the character of that area and have an adverse impact. Based on these reasons, staff recommends denial of the requested rezoning to C1 commercial district. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Commissioners, any questions for staff?
I'll make a motion. We deny based on staff's recommendation.
All righty, thank you, Ms. Phillips. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Phillips made a motion to accept staff's recommendation for denial. Mr. Holland has a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it.
The next docket is CZ-2025-073. The property is located at 1500 Cedar Lane Road and Orchid Drive in Greenville. The applicant is Noah P. Zoran of Bob's Inc. for Robert D. Mangum. The 0.643 acre subject property consists of one parcel and is located approximately 0.7 miles southeast of the intersection of Whitehorse Road, Highway 25, and Cedar Lane Road, Highway 183, and currently contains vacant land. This is the zoning of the surrounding area. Subject property outlined here is zoned C2 Commercial District. The request is for S1 Services District. You can also see the surrounding property zones. The applicant states that the proposed land use is a tow yard and vehicle storage facility. This is the subject site and photo showing the area surrounding the subject site. Staff is of the opinion that a successful rezoning to S1 Services District would be consistent with similar zoning in the area and would not have an adverse impact. Based on these reasons, staff recommends approval of the requested rezoning to S1 Services District. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Bexley. Commissioners, questions or motion? Ms. Manning.
Is there a way that we can go ahead and request that the owner of the property provide some sort of a visual barrier around the tow yard?
So we wouldn't be able to place those conditions at this time. I would say that under the existing requirements of the zoning ordinance, if there are damaged direct vehicles on the site, there does already have to be an 8-foot screen measure in place around it.
How large a screen does there have to be?
8 feet in height
8 foot.
and opaque.
And that would be so that people cannot see actually in?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, that makes sense, because I understand the sheriff wants to use this for abandoned cars, et cetera, et cetera.
And that's not just residential, that's entirely around the area where they're storing the wrecked or damaged vehicles.
Good, thank you for the clarification.
Because it has to be a secured area.
Any other questions? Motion?
I'll do a motion to approve per staff recommendation.
All righty, Ms. Manning
I'll
made the
second.
motion to approve. Mr. Parham's got the second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. 9-0.
That concludes the rezoning portion. We will transition over to subdivision.
We're going to slowly transition. Megan is on her way back. She had to run to her office. I'm sure somebody caught her on the way back before and stopped her for a question.
Not out of breath at all.
I was about to start doing the Parks and Rec filibuster, but.
The live stream lags a little bit, did you know?
You what?
The live stream lags a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Get up, Todd.
I was trying to get the presentation open. It has opened in I think it crashed.
Megan, I'd like to thank you for getting back to me so quickly today, as I called you and then emailed you, and you got back to me within 20 minutes. Thank you. Information was very helpful.
Don't hold her up.
I was commending her in front of her boss.
Just copy him. We apologize. We're getting there. We want out of here too. So. Was it smoke him if you got him? You ready?
I'm ready.
Go right ahead.
All right, thank y'all for bearing with me. Our first case tonight is PP 2025-178 Oakhurst Grove Extension. Oakhurst Grove Extension is a proposed Scuffletown Rural Conservation Subdivision located south of Lee Vaughn Road, which is a state road. The applicant is requesting 54 lots on 31.78 acres for a density of 1.7 units per acre. Access is provided off of Lee Vaughn Road. Here is the site plan that was included in your packets. The proposed subdivision includes one full ingress-egress point as well as a full connection to the initial phase of Oakhurst Grove, which includes another full ingress-egress and an emergency access. Lots that are at least 6,000 square feet in accordance with the minimum lot size of the Scuffletown Rural Conservation District, 50-foot undisturbed screening buffers around the perimeter of the site, a 150-foot scenic roadside buffer, appropriate stream buffers per LDR 8.22, one detention pond in common area, 16.9 acres of open space, which is 53.18% of the site, and a mailbox CBU and shared amenity common area with Oakhurst Grove Phase 1. Here is a site outlined in red. And here's the zoning of the site. The subject site is part of the Greenville County Comprehensive Plan, where it is designated as suburban neighborhood. Suburban neighborhoods are generally shaped by residential subdivisions of medium lot homes with relatively uniform housing types and densities. The suburban neighborhood character area type recommends a density of 3 to 5 dwelling units per acre. Oakhurst Grove Extension is proposing a density of 1.7 units per acre. The subject property is also a part of the Scuffletown Area Plan, where it is designated as rural residential. The intent of this classification is to provide for low-density, large-lot, single-family residential development, as well as agricultural and forestry-related uses. These areas generally have a rural agricultural character. Here is the site, and across the street from the site, or west of the site, excuse me. And here is north of the site and south of the site. SAC comments that were provided at the SAC meeting this past month from SCDOT, with only plus or minus 630 feet between Palm Springs Way and Grading Place Private Drive. Road A would not appear to meet the minimum spacing requirements based on speed limit. While Grading Place is a private driveway, the access point provides access to 3 parcels totaling 39.27 acres, which could be developed as the parcel being reviewed. Ideally, the access points would shift to align these parcels. If these parcels are developed in the future, SCDOT anticipates the need for a left turn lane on Lee Vaughn Road as needed for the original Oakhurst development. With this left turn lane, it is likely the left turn lane will tie into Shellbrook Plantation left turn lane to carry the 3-lane intersection all the way through the original Oakhurst left turn lane. From Greenville County Subdivision Administration, recommend a stub out to the south of the property. Per the ordinance, a stub out is not a requirement for this many lots that are proposed. All other SAC comments were addressed during the resubmittal period. Staff recommends approval with conditions of the plan with the standard and specific requirements. The condition is 1, prior to final plat, provide approval from SCDOT regarding the location of the access point and any road improvements. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Ms. Staton. All right, nobody signed up in opposition, so we'll move in favor of Charles Green. You got 10 minutes total. Greer? Yeah, you're right.
Greer, yeah, thank you, sir. I'm the engineer for the applicant. I got Ryan here. He's going to speak on Pulte's behalf, but mainly here to answer any questions if you have them. But we're following the same thing we did on the previous phase. We're doing plenty of buffers. We're going to have all the water quality treatment we need. Pretty standard stuff here. So if there's anything you have questions on, I'm happy to answer.
Commissioners, any questions for the engineer or the applicant?
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Mr. Parham.
How many units were in the original
The original was 64.
64?
Yes,
Okay.
sir. And there's two that are going to be removed for the tie-in, so there'll be 62 now.
So what was the reason these were done two separate instead of a single?
I believe the parcel that is now coming in was not currently available at the time the first one went in.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Moore,
Mr. Chairman.
there you go. Lean up to it.
While this is presented as an extension, it has its own separate set of numbers, I'm looking at it from the broader perspective that both sets together.
Yes, sir.
Levon Road is a very, very busy road. SCDOT measures about 8,900 vehicles a day at a site just near there along the stretch of the road. Transportation groups typically say between 6,000 and 10,000 vehicles a day as a capacity of a road like this. With the two pieces together, you've got over 100 lots. Should there be a traffic study conducted?
Yes, sir. Pulte has done a traffic study, and it recommended a two-way left turn lane on Levon Road, which we're going to do with DOT.
Could,
So there's a left turn lane already
Yeah.
designed and approved with DOT on the initial phase. And then it goes back and we would do a left turn lane, but the reason they have to do a twiddle is because there's two driveways on either side. So we have to do a two-way left turn lane. So we'll widen the road and do that improvement.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
Did they provide the traffic study to staff?
I'd have to check our files. I don't believe we have one. Did you provide it?
We can upload that if we need to.
Okay, so
We have
no.
it. Little
Day late
down,
and a dollar short.
Yeah.
Mr.
It's not a
Chairman.
requirement for this one
Oh, I know, but
application.
I'm curious, because isn't this a state road?
Yeah.
It
Yes,
is a
sir.
state
It
road.
is.
That's why
Yeah.
usually we see that.
Is I don't want to say decel, I sound like former planning commissioner, but is there a right turn lane already planned into the developments
There's
from
not.
Levon?
It was not warranted by the turn
No.
lane.
Not
Or-
even adding the additional,
Just the two-way left turn lane.
would you be willing to put one in?
I'll let you speak to that. I'm not.
Yep, we would be welcome to any recommendations by council.
I just know that I live in this area and I know Levon Road, and as it grows like that and we keep adding, homes and residents, that road's very curvy and
Curry.
people get on that straight shot and they step on the gas.
Yes.
So if you would entertain that, I would like to maybe recommend that as a condition for approval.
We'll certainly keep it in mind, whoever makes the motion. Any other questions for the?
I guess,
Mr.
Mr.
Farm?
Chair,
Thank you.
comments, maybe a little bit of a question, but I was actually out there Sunday, late afternoon, and I parked my car and walked along there. It was like a racetrack. I would not want to be pulling out of any of those neighborhoods at the busiest time of the day. And this was Sunday afternoon, about 3 o'clock or so. So I would imagine it's much busier, to his point, than during the week and early hours. So, part of this talks also about, this is low-density agriculture and forest, and it just seems like there's a huge amount of growth very quickly out there. And I question the infrastructure being able to support this rate of growth. So I'm not very much in favor of this, but
Okay.
thank you.
All right, any other questions, comments? I got one. LDR 16.1.3, paragraph B. The Planning Commission shall determine the appropriateness of the dimensions of the required open space. The open space on the preliminary plat should have meaningful dimensions, proportions, and placements. I don't think you, in my opinion, follow that. There's just, right now, I count only like 12 out of 54 lots that adjoin meaningful open space. So for these reasons, I can't support this either. Commissioners, any other questions?
I'd like to make a motion to deny this on the basis of, as Chairman Bickle has said, in terms of meaningful proportions are not here in terms of open space. I'd like to suggest that we deny this.
All right.
I second.
Ms. Manning made a motion to deny. Mr. Parham's got the second. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
I know. Mr. Hammond.
well, several items. We're sitting there and, gosh, there's nobody here in opposition. Staff has recommended approval. Last time I checked, nobody's got on their resume about being a traffic engineer on the planning commission. Nobody's a civil engineer on the planning commission. The chairman has a personal bias against what he considers to be usable, meaningful open area. I see a lot of open space. 53.1% of the site is open area. So you're basically getting ready to deny an application based on a personal definition of what meaningful is. And you've got the professionals of staff have recommended that we approve it. They're going to do everything, and apparently maybe a little more than what DOT would require them to do. And we're going to get hung up on what meaningful open space is when it makes up over 50% of the site. This confounds me why we would do that. But if y'all feel like you're all experts in traffic and civil engineering and site planning, and you know what meaningful means, and it's a black and white definition for you, have at it.
Thank you, Mr. Hammond.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Parham.
Thank you, Mr. Hammond, for your comments. I don't believe that I need to be an expert on any of those things that you mentioned. I have eyes and I have ears. I have eyes and ears, and I actually spent time out there. I'm not sure who else actually went out there and saw it. Thank you. So I don't believe, it looks like you didn't go out there, but that's fine. The Enabling Act, in particular, Section 291120, actually explains the intent and purposes of the Enabling Act. Several of those bullets apply here, and we do have discretion. The staff, you're right, they have more of the professional experience, but we are to be the voice of the public to some degree, and we have discretion. And for that reason, I can't support this. Thank you.
Well, the public doesn't seem to be too outraged by the fact that there's nobody here in opposition.
All righty, thank you both. Any other questions or comments? All right, we have a motion to deny. All in favor, raise your hand. Opposed, raise your hand. All right, it's denied 7-2.
This is PP 2025-179, Magnolia Estates. Magnolia Estates is a proposed conventional subdivision located east of Keeler Mill Road, which is a state road. The applicant is requesting 49 lots on 95.36 acres for a density of 0.51 units per acre. Access is provided off of Keeler Mill Road, which is a state road. The proposed conventional subdivision, here's the site plan that was included in your packets. The proposed conventional subdivision includes one ingress-egress point, one hidden emergency access, lots that meet the required 25,000 square feet for a conventional subdivision in the RS zoning district, 20-foot undisturbed screening buffers around the perimeter of the site, 2 detention ponds in common area, appropriate riparian buffers, traffic calming to address the long main road on site, and mailbox CBU in common area with 2 parking spaces, one of which is ADA accessible. Here is the site outlined in red. And here is the zoning of the site. The subject site is part of the Greenville County Comprehensive Plan, where it is designated as suburban edge with a small portion in the northeast of the site designated as floodplain. Suburban edges are low-density residential areas that offer opportunities for low-intensity development that is well integrated with the natural landscape and agricultural uses. This area recommends a density of 0 to 1 dwelling units per acre. Magnolia Estates is proposing a density of 0.51 units per acre. The subject property is not part of a community area plan. Here is the site and west of the site. Here is north of the site and south of the site. SAC comments that were provided at last month's meeting. From Metro, a septic request was submitted as Keeler Mill Road tract. Septic was denied on 8/26/2025. A pump station will be required. All other SAC comments were addressed during the resubmittal period. Staff recommends approval with conditions of the plan with the standard and specific requirements, with the condition being provide either septic or sewer approval letter from REWA and Metro. Depending on which type of approval is given, updated documents and a revised preliminary plan may be required. If sewer is selected prior to land disturbance permitting, a signed sewer availability letter and feasible connection path to sewer will be required, with updated preliminary plan to show location of sewer lines and connections and easements. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Ms. Staton. I don't think anybody signed up in opposition. Michael Williams, are you in favor or opposition?
Well, my subject matter is something different.
Or you just signed up the wrong spot?
Well, I think so, but I need to maybe make a presentation and be quick, and then we be.
No, does it relate to this subdivision?
Oh, okay.
Does it relate to this subdivision?
It could, yeah.
Come on, let's let him do it.
All right, come on down. You got 10 minutes.
Okay. Well, it probably
Give us your name and address.
be 10 minutes. My first name is Michael. You spell that Michael. My last name is Williams. You spell that Williams. My mailing address is 9 Sunnyview Drive, Greenville, South Carolina. My subject matter is the old warehousing on West Washington Street.
We can't listen. It has to be related to this subdivision.
Well, I'll get to that point. Okay.
All right.
My company is interested in doing is to moving Greenville County into the Maha movement that the president has actually presented, in the sense that we're trying to clean up the
Mr. Chairman,
foods
can
and
we
what have
press
you.
on, please?
Sir, I need to interrupt you.
Well,
This has
let me
nothing to
finish.
do
Let me
with
finish.
Magnolia
There-
Estates.
Okay, well, it doesn't, I definitely said to you that.
No, you did not. You said it might, and we gave you.
Because there's a subdivision that's on the side of the,
Is it this subdivision?
no, it's not.
Sir, please, we need to move on.
Okay,
You need to be talking to county council probably.
okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Paul Harrison. You don't have a warehouse, do you?
I still got 10 minutes.
Yeah, you only got 8 minutes.
8 minutes now. Paul Harrison, Blue Water Civil Design. We're the civil engineers for this project, and it's a conventional subdivision. As Megan stated, the flu map, it's, suburban edge, 0 to 1 units per acre, so we're half of that. We're proposing 50 lots, or 49 lots on 95.36 acres. Lots are minimum 25,000 square foot. Access comes off of Keeler Mill Road, which is a state road. We didn't create the open space intentionally, but we are preserving a lot of the property in open space that'll be undisturbed.
It's undisturbed because you can't walk it.
Yeah. I do want to bring up something on this. I just kind of noticed it on the way over here. It's a mistake on our part. We're showing a 20-foot buffer going along the road. We don't mind preserving that and providing that, but that's actually not required along the frontage of the road. But
You're right.
that was just a graphical error on our part. So we got one access point with an emergency access, an intermediate turnaround just due to the length of the road and the cul-de-sac. Conventional and there's really nothing else I'd like to add, but I would like to talk a little bit about the conditions from staff. Our proposal for this subdivision is a septic subdivision. Couple months ago, 2 or 3 months ago, I guess, staff approved a subdivision right next door, 79 lots, septic lots, same type. It's a different client. It's not the same client. And I did not work on that project. Just happened to be at the Planning Commission meeting. So our proposal is for a septic subdivision. I don't want for Planning Commission to vote on this dictating whether it's has to be public sewer or septic. I think we either get our septic permits or we don't.
Paul,
you
it
know?
says provide either septic or sewer.
Yeah.
I
I just
either?
want to make sure that there's no special conditions tied to this subdivision
You're good.
application from that perspective, because I do want Planning Commission to know that sewer, we've run preliminary routes. It's roughly 10,000 feet away. We put numbers to it. It's a $3 million sewer project to provide that public sewer for this property. And I just want to make sure that that there's no special conditions that are put on this application.
And what would the cost for septic then be?
It depends on the.
Just curious.
I mean,
landowner.
I
What do
don't
you
know how much,
figure?
I don't know, $5,000 a lot. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much it costs to put in
Don't matter.
septic systems.
Just kind of curious.
That's a guess.
Commissioners, any question for the engineer on this application?
I comment if Mr. Harrison will verify yes or no.
Ms. Phillips?
If REWA feels like sewer can be run, they're going to require it. Is that not correct? At the end of the day?
I mean, they're
going to override the county.
I guess
right?
they can say would require whatever. I'm not sure how all that works. I'm not an attorney. Septic permits are issued by the state, so I don't know how all of that works.
Not our purview, Ms. Phillips.
That'll all come out in the wash?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Don't you worry. The state be there. Any other questions, comments, motion?
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Moore?
You've got a lot of open space there. Not sure you can walk it because of the slopes. But you've also got a couple of streams running through there with a lot of riparian buffers. How do you get to the open space areas to the north part of the property without crossing any of the riparian buffers or damaging those?
Mr. Moore, this is a conventional
required.
subdivision. Open space is not even part of the subject.
Okay.
So if,
Thank you, sir.
all right, no, I'm just trying to keep things moving. Any other questions? Motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr.
I
Mattisini?
will make a motion to approve.
All right, with the one staff's condition.
Yes, sir.
I'll second.
All right, Mr. Mattisini made a motion to approve with staff's conditions. Ms. Phillips has a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, our next case is VA 2025-182, Creekwalk Tiny Home Community Variance, LDR, from LDR 15.4.2. The applicant is seeking a variance from the requirements of LDR Section 15.4.2, which requires that recreational vehicles keep a minimum of 10 feet between each structure, including any sheds or other accessory structures. According to the applicant, the purpose of the variance is to cover the entire community because the units on site are movable and each move creates new needs. The applicant states that the various situations such as location of trees on sites and as outlined in their application narrative may affect the applicant's ability to adhere to the setback requirement. According to the applicant, a variance to allow for a 5-foot setback is requested to keep the closeness of the community and maintain the feel of the outdoor spaces within the community. Here is an image of the overall site, or the site plan. And here is the site outlined in red. The site is unzoned. All right, here is the site, south of the site, east of the site, and west of the site. SEC comments from subdivision: no concerns with the request. All building code and permitting requirements and property line setbacks for the overall site must still be met and maintained. Staff recommends approval of the variance as requested. And I just wanted to explain a little bit more about this request because I know it seems at face value a little bit like it doesn't quite explain what's going on. So what we have here is an RV park, but this RV park was kind of conceptualized as being a tiny home type development, which is kind of a buzzword. We do have a tiny homes ordinance. That ordinance is specifically for tiny homes on individual lots. And it came after the approval of this RV park. So that doesn't really come into play here as far as the tiny home ordinance goes. But how this came into needing a variance was the idea for this Creek Walk tiny home park is that these tiny homes are kind of like, they look like houses. They are licensed and ready for highway use. You could pull them along, but a lot of them have skirting that makes them look like regular small houses. And so on site, a lot of them have added storage buildings in between and they look like the tiny homes. So for them to be able to keep these storage buildings on the site between these RV pads, they've requested a variance to allow for that instead of allowing for, the things to be on the site nearby. They do still meet all of the requirements of an RV park, but they call themselves tiny homes. So,
All right, thank you, Ms. Staten. Nobody signed up in opposition. Alan Smith is our first speaker. Name and address. You got 10 total minutes of everybody who signed up here.
I'm Alan Smith, 105 White Oak Road, Greenville, 29609. I think Megan explained it pretty well. Having an RV sticker doesn't mean what you think typically. If you think park model, you get there a little bit, park model RV. But the idea is the people that live there they're not, I don't know, the bad reputation that comes with old-fashioned trailers or just an RV park where there's a lot of transient workers. These are nice little homes, granite countertops. You see them, and it's a quaint feel to it. And part of that quaint feel has to do with person walks out, there's a nice little deck, there's a shed, and there's a neighbor. The problem is that little shed breaks that 10-foot barrier. And I have some pictures if you'd like to see, and I'm willing to answer questions, but.
No, we were given pictures.
Okay.
Any questions, commissioners?
What is the hardship that you need the variance for?
I guess it's orange property.
Sorry. The units get moved from time to time. And so, for example, one of the units, the person, they requested that we put in a handicap ramp. Mm-hmm. And so he comes up his ramp, his front door's to the right, his shed's to the left. You might could stick it in the back, but it makes it impractical. And when you pull up to the unit, the way it works, the driveway's right there, the shed's in front of your car, and you get in and you walk into your house. And people that live in the tiny homes, obviously they're getting rid of a lot of possessions. That's part of what being a tiny home is. But at the same time, they like to live in outdoor space, so the shed provides the ability, with the handicap ramp, obviously not, but for a bicycle and other things.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Hall.
if he has photos, I'd like to see them, because I'm trying to conceptualize what he's talking about. We don't have those type of photos.
I swear there.
Oh, I saw those.
So this one's for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
But-
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Parham,
I apologize for not addressing you earlier.
tell my wife that.
Yeah. So I did go out there and rode through 3 or 4 of the roads. And so there's already a lot of these storage buildings there, from what I could see.
Yes.
So this is not asking for, can we do this moving forward? It's already been done.
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything from a handicap, legal, law, stance, ordinances, that if someone does need a ramp, it already is allowed to be put there without this variance? In the example he gave.
Do you mean where it's handicap
Yeah,
accessibility
if you need
played
a-
into this
If you need a
development?
handicap ramp there, is it already
can't speak
valid
to
to do
the-
that without needing a variance?
To the
Because that's a
handicap ramp.
special case.
The variance is for the location of the structures, the sheds on site.
Yeah.
It's not for a ramp, because a ramp doesn't count as a structure.
Okay.
That's not one of the photos. My intent, I just used that as a perfect example, because when I went out there, that was one of the first one I hit, right there on the left.
Okay.
But some of these pictures here, you see, for example, the first one, 247 in that blue building.
Are these technically on individual lots?
It's all one, well, it's 2 large parcels, like an RV park.
It's like an RV park.
Yes.
The lots for the RVs are not,
Lots, there's
they're
spaces.
pads.
Yeah.
There's
But
spaces.
those pads were identified on the original plan, correct?
That's right.
With dimensions? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so as we've gone along and put more homes in, and people have moved and maybe moved out, and other people have moved in, we've kind of gone over those lines. Is
Well,
that-
yes and no. Like, if you think if these were old-fashioned RVs sitting there, you back in right where 247 is, you can see the trailer hitch on the front.
Right.
And you put your awning out, you might struggle to, and then you
Well,
have a
yeah, I don't
picnic
think you'd have
table
enough
and-
room for an awning if we.
Well,
At 5 feet, yeah.
and it's very normal in an RV park that when you share the space with your neighbor only when he comes out to do something on the backside of his house. Like, for example, mess with his sewer or his water or that kind of thing. So it's normal in an RV park for that space to be occupied. In this case, it's a little trailer or a deck or something like, I'm sorry, not a trailer, a shed that comes in on a trailer, sits there. And you can move it in a day, and you can move any of these in the morning. All this stuff can, and move to another lot.
Kind of like they used to do single wides, take the wheels off.
Yeah, the wheels are still on them, the trailer,
Okay.
on every single one of them. So the space as designed as an RV park works, it's just that this this article, 15.4.2, states that that structure is part of the RV, so to speak.
Is there
I don't
any,
read it that way.
anything we're missing with this
Yeah, if you-
picture?
I'm going to speak, by golly. In your variance, you say to require strict 10-foot uniform spacing sterilizes the look and diminishes the value. The RV ordinance reads, it just says 10-foot minimum. You can do 50-foot, you can do 100-foot. But the 10-foot minimum, I think, is the best way, because if you go 5-foot, has the fire marshal looked at this? Because if one of these units catch on fire and the next unit next to it is 5 foot away, I think you got a bad safety issue.
I do know that the shed, none of these products that are in the middle, the sheds, they're not energized, there's no power in them.
It doesn't matter.
It
That
doesn't
doesn't
matter.
matter.
The shed, if you put these lovely trailers or RVs, or whatever you want to call them, tiny homes, 5 foot apart, I just think it's a fire hazard. And I mean, the ordinance says 10-foot minimum. So you can dodge all the trees, you can dodge anything you want. So that's the term strict 10-foot uniform spacing is not applicable. It just says 10-foot minimum. And I believe That's the way it should be.
What about in the case of the handicap ramp?
You got more room for a ramp now. I don't understand. You're within a box.
So you have a rectangle box, okay, that's what? I don't know what your dimensions are. But
an RV is
within
site-
that box, you can park your camper this way, whatever, but you're still within that box.
True.
So
Because of
if
square
you're,
footage.
if you're wanting uniformity, wouldn't you just park them all the same way?
No, they
Well,
don't want uniformity.
Well,
That's my point.
but you still have a box, give it a, let's say 10 by 10, okay, I know it's larger than that, to put your unit inside of. But that would include the unit and any other items that you put on that piece of land, property.
Well, the approved plan has a spot designated for the RV, and then for parking, and then the sewer and utilities are already in place as normal RV parks are built. This is no different. And in any other RV park, it's normal to have an awning and to have a picnic table and a bug shelter and all of the stuff.
Right.
That's what an RV park historically always has been. In this case, instead of it being a tent with a lantern hanging in it, it's a little structure. Now, a tent is considered a structure also historically.
But you
Under
still
Greenwood.
have to use the spot that you're renting, and you don't go over on your neighbor's spot.
Exactly. And that
So-
spot ends close to the neighbor is the,
But you keep bringing up the handicap ramp, which
Yeah.
has no bearing whatsoever in any of this. I don't understand.
the handicap ramp and his shed crosses the 10-foot, or breaks the 10-foot rule.
But if it's,
So we're going to have to change it.
but
We're
if
gonna
you're
have to
still
go back to him and change
within
his
the
rule.
box that you're purchasing or renting, you've got your living quarters, you've got your tent or your outbuilding, and you've got your handicap ramp if you need one, but it's still within that 10 by 10 box. I don't understand why you need a
Because
variance.
you don't park, RVs have a passenger side and a driver side, and the way you refer to them in the RV world. And if you look at any Airstream, they've been around since the 1930s. The door's always on the right side, and you walk out. That's your front yard.
That's right.
The backside doesn't have a door typically. So all of that space up to your neighbor is your front yard, is your usable space. It's not the back typically, and it's not the other side. So like if you look at picture one, his usable space is where that shed is.
That is correct. And anything to the left of that shed is the neighbor next door.
Well, in this case, we would have to move the shed if we can't break the 10-foot rule. And then the shed is now touching his, and to get the 10.
So that shed is 5 feet off of the house to the
I
left
think
in the first photograph?
It's over 6,
Over 6.
yeah.
Which would negate your 5-foot rule.
Right.
No,
It's,
But you
No.
just said it took less than a
Minimum-
day to move those, correct? They're easy to move?
yes and no. I
And
mean,
why
it's
could-
easy and
Hold on,
and
Mr.
doable
Hall.
in the morning.
It is almost like, being these are mostly tiny homes, I'm not just staying for a week, for the
Right,
most part.
right.
So if I have a shed that belongs to me temporarily, permanently, whatever, why wouldn't I have it right next to my home instead of encroaching on my neighbor's property?
But that's
I mean, like,
just
I
it.
wouldn't build my shed on my neighbor's property.
None of the neighbors, in fact, the neighbors, when they saw our signs, they asked, and maybe what I should have done is had them show up and supported this.
Yeah.
All of the people that live here want this rule. They enjoy this. This is the nature of a tiny home community. They walk out, some of them share the same shed. They have planter boxes.
And they can't do that in 10 feet. Walk 5 more feet. I'm sorry, I just don't see the advantage here.
well,
Does either of these other two people want to speak?
your fourth photograph here, that has to be less than 10 feet.
That's what they want.
If your first photograph is 6, your fourth photograph showing the wooden deck coming down the steps, there's a slope to the left. That has to be closer than 10 feet.
It's my understanding that The houses are 10 feet apart, but with the steps, we end up at something like 7 there. That's the last picture, number 4. In other words, if you take the steps off, we're in compliance there, but then their steps, they don't have steps there.
The,
Well, but-
just to
Wait a minute, Ms. Staden.
clarify very quickly. So the ordinance under 15.4.2, the very last sentence says, any accessory structures or attachments shall, for the purpose of this requirement, be considered a part of the trailer or recreational vehicle.
Yes,
So the steps should be 10 feet as well.
right.
That's right.
So
That's why I'm
I
asking
think
for
the concern here
5.
is that, yeah, that those steps are also
So-
violating the requirement.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to make a motion for denial of this variance request.
I would like to ask, does either of these other two people would like to speak to this? All right, come up here real quick. Name and address. I need to let them speak. No, they're all in favor.
Alexa Wego, 198 Creek Walk Drive, Travelers Rest, South Carolina 29690. So when he's speaking of the sheds with all the structures and everything, the major issue here is that when these folks come to our community, they choose their lot, they come and look at it. They choose lots based on the coziness and the quaintness. Some of these sheds were just blatantly overlooked. Some of these homeowners had moved in sheds before they had asked our permission. That's very few of them, but we do have an architectural process where they're supposed to get them approved. Regardless of that, we have, since like phase 1, we have some sheds that have been closer. People build pergolas. They have about, like, on average, a 25 by 70 foot lot to use. That's theirs that they rent. So these sheds are not going on somebody else's lot. It is on their rented lot. But I guess the point of this variance would be to allow people to have their quaint lot, which they came to our community and chose for that closeness to their neighbor. And then as they install their shed, which is mostly required because these people are, we have retirees, young families that are downsizing from homes. This is meant to be affordable housing. In order to keep it affordable, the lots are they're cozy. That's why people come here. If you look at Simple Life, if you're familiar with that, they have beautiful, huge, giant lots, but people come here to our community because it's affordable. We charge $500 a month. This is part of how we keep costs down, we keep community up. But also, it maintains people using less vehicles. It reduces the amount of green space that we're taking up. We pride ourselves that we have 3 ponds. We have creeks. We have walking trails. If we were to even expand these homes another 5 feet, we're basically giving up a lot of that green space that they came here for. Again, I do wish, like that has been said, that we actually got some of our homeowners to come here because nobody wants to move their shed. If we have to do this, we're moving a line of possibly, like it's a domino effect where some of these sheds that were too close are in the middle of a few other homes. So it's not going to be just moving one home. It's going to be moving a dozen people, them having to find somewhere else to go for a few days, rehooking utilities, but also kind of encroaching on their minimal costs that they came to our community for. Again, these are small sheds, and kind of their means of having any type of storage outside of their 300 square foot home.
So you're out of compliance to begin with.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question?
Sure, Mr. Hall.
So you're saying your lot basically is 25 by 70?
Yeah, they vary because of the topography of the land.
All right. What's
but-
the average length and width of your tiny homes?
Those vary as well because some of them are custom. A lot of these are custom homes, but usually it's about 11 foot by, depending on the decks and things that are attached, maybe 45 feet
Okay.
long.
So if your lots are roughly 70 feet deep and your home is 45 feet, my math, that gives us 25 feet. Put your storage unit behind the tiny home instead of beside it.
So we have because if you've ridden out to our community, it basically, when we first developed it, is mountainous. So we have several springs, things like that. So the county required us to put in a lot of swales behind the homes. We can't cover the swales. There's nothing we can do about that. And so that's partly why this was forced, the sheds over, because we just can't impede swales where there's springs and things.
Why didn't you follow the ordinance to begin with and do 10 feet?
Well, we did. So if you look at phase 1 and phase 2, they're all 10 feet. I guess we didn't realize, or it wasn't realized that like the steps were gonna be part of that. But in all of phase 1 and phase 2, if you go out there and measure, there's maybe only like 1 or 2 that slipped by us that were maybe a little bit less than that because of the shed or a stairway structure type of thing. But if you go in our final phase, basically that's what happened, is that people came and picked out their lots, and then after the fact, they purchased sheds. And again, that's the part that's too close, is the sheds. So the sheds are on averaging maybe 5 to 8 feet, but they're all over 5 feet.
Mr. Parham has a question for you.
So how many total lots do you have that are occupied or unoccupied, just total lots already developed? Whether anything's on it or not, how many total lots do you have?
Right about 120. We had to eliminate several just because of the way the topography, but
Okay.
about 120.
And out of 120, this is a question for you and/or the staff, how many of these are out of compliance?
Less than 10. I want to say 5 or 6. I mean, it's such a minimal number.
So you guys noticed this and came and applied for the variance, or these guys pointed it out to you?
No, we
There was an application that was submitted. One of our building inspectors went out on site, noticed the sheds that were there, contacted us. You know, we looked at the ordinance. We saw that was not in compliance with the ordinance. We sent our zoning enforcement officer out at that time to issue the violation, and then that's what spurred the application for variance.
Okay. So is there a methodology, has it ever been done before, where we can make a variance for specific lots, and then if those are no longer occupied and somebody moves out, somebody moves in, they must comply from that point forward?
If they had tax map numbers, yes, not now. These are not legally defined lots.
Okay.
Is that right? Correct?
That's correct.
Thank you.
I'm trying to find a middle ground for our discretion, but it sounds like it's not going to be able to be there.
No.
So, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Matasevic.
A couple questions. First of all, and this, you could answer this, maybe staff can answer this. If there were no sheds, would we need a variance? Yes or no?
There's one, I think there's one or 2 homes that are less than 10 feet, but I want to say it's like 8.5 feet. So,
But generally,
no,
we'd
the
all be
rest
good
of the
to go.
park is all in compliance. The only time we came across this was on our phase 3. We only have like 12 homes left to move in. And if we don't get this variance, we're basically going to have to uproot a dozen homes to move everybody over 1 foot.
You just said 5 or 6 were not in compliance.
Well, because it's a domino effect, because the homes that are too close are right in the middle of another set of homes. So it is only 2 or 3 that are not complying, but in order to make them comply, we have to move the whole row of homes. Yeah, to fix 1 or 2, we have to move everything on either side, because these ones are right in the middle.
Delete a space.
But if you delete, you'd have to delete 2.
Still have the hookups.
Are you signed up there? Are you Richard?
Mr. Chairman, I also want to make a point, and I'll just say this, that when steps are wanting to be, attached to these units, a permit has to be applied for, an inspection has to be done. So those inspections, those permits were approved so long as they were applied for by Greenville County.
So a lot of these stairs are,
It could be that they were approved incorrectly because they
or
weren't
they
going
didn't
off
apply
of
for the
units
permit.
and not off of the steps
Okay,
themselves.
all right. Mr. William?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead. You got a couple more minutes, sir.
198 Creek Walk Drive, Richard Williams.
Can you speak into Mr. Microphone?
198 Creek Walk Drive, Richard Williams.
Thank you.
One of the things I wanted to express is to answer your question, is the lots are 690 square feet. Exactly what they have to by law. Some of the terrain makes us have to move those over. Plus, in the 690 square feet includes our driveway, and it includes the back swell she was talking about. So there's not a lot of variance, the way to set those homes in there. So when we were asking about, what I would be asking for is that the last 8 or 9 that's come in, they're all fine. The ones we can go forward, we're fine. But if we move 258 or 257, that means I've got to move all the way down to 250 over 2 feet. So that's where the problem lies in there. We can sign, we can say, hey, we'll agree with, nothing goes forward, it'll be closer than 10 feet. We can fix that, make sure that never happens again. This one here that you were talking about, that's 10 feet.
From the steps to the unit next to it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That one came.
How wide are those steps there? About 4 feet?
Yes, sir.
4. That's not 10 feet.
Okay.
That's about 6 feet by my measurement. I know there's a slight slope there, but you're saying you've measured it and it's 10 feet, for the record.
If that's 4 feet, yes.
You're telling me the step is 4 feet wide?
Sir, I took these pictures here.
Yeah, let's,
You may have 6. I don't think you've got 10.
Josh, I got a question for you. If we did want to say this variance only applies to the existing spaces, would we have to define those spaces? Let staff answer.
I believe there would need to be, I mean, these, while you mentioned a minute ago about tax parcel numbers, that is correct, and Megan was correct as well, but there are lot numbers associated with these.
Yes.
You would have to define what lots the variance would and wouldn't, would apply to, and by default would not apply to.
All right, there's some hardship. What lot numbers are you speaking of?
I can get that to you tomorrow. I don't have that information here.
We need it now, sorry.
I can sit here and think about them, and I may be off one, but the variance, 201, 205, these are the ones that are not finished. Are you talking which ones need the variance?
Just the ones that are existing in place today,
That needed the variance?
that you don't want a domino move.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Wild Violet. So Wild Violet is the main issue. That's the one with the beautiful pond view. So 255 Wild Violet Lane, 256 Wild Violet Lane, 257 Wild Violet Lane. 250, yeah.
257.
Okay, so 253, and then we moved a home at we moved the shed at 252, so that one's no longer a problem.
So 250, 252 and 257.
And
then you get.
and then the ones at the front, so 246, or 245.
245 side.
You said
No,
only
246.
6.
This is the last one.
All right.
Yeah, and then, so just on Creek Walk Drive where we have these little throws that are easily movable, easily define that, but 245 through 247, those 3 homes, because there's a shed in between.
Well, now we're up to 9.
Well-
The story seems
Well,
mobile
so-
here.
She did say
So
10
she-
initially.
Well, but
I said
it
less
went down
than
to 5 or
10.
6.
Well, for the shed, and then she clarified that the handicap ramp counts, so like 245 has a handicap ramp.
All right, I was trying to help. This is going down another.
So it's less
hole.
than 10. With the handicap ramp, that one is 1.
Commissioners, any suggestions here real quick?
Mr. Chairman, it sounds like there's a lot of non-compliance issues that we may not know about at this point.
Good point.
And it's kind of hard. I don't know if the best thing would be to deny it or to maybe see if we could hold it and then come back. They come back with a more definitive request.
We can only hold if you agree to hold until December or January, or whatever our next meeting is.
We will comply by your rules to a T until that day. We'll come back and we'll have the information you need.
That's what, okay.
Okay.
So you agree with a hold? All right. We're going to hold this until our next meeting, and then they can return.
We need to vote on that?
No.
We've got to make sure that they know exactly, we need to have the specific lots. specific-
Wait, she knows. We need the specific lots.
We need
Okay.
the specific lots.
All right.
Not now, but next meeting.
Next meeting. They know that.
I want to make sure that.
They do. Believe me. The chairman can agree, no votes necessary, bylaws.
Mr. Chairman, and staff will work with them and maybe schedule a time to go out there and meet. To
Sure,
know
that'd be
exactly
great.
what
No,
that-
I mean, we're willing to work with them
Yeah.
on the existing. We just don't want to give carte blanche to the whole place.
Understand.
And I still believe there's a fire hazard. But
Yes.
I
Mr. Chair,
agree.
quick question, Mr. Chair.
Mr.
Yeah,
Parr,
we'll check with building codes.
yes,
For the question for staff.
Check the fire marshal.
When there is a violation, had we denied this, how long do they have to come into compliance?
Typically, our violations are for 30 days.
Okay.
We work with applicants who, as long as they're showing that they're trying to bring it into compliance, we can extend that, but we don't extend it much more than, we'll give maybe one more set of 30 and then maybe just a little bit more if they're almost there. It's just, we work with them best we can.
And can you make sure that the fire marshal has reviewed all of this as well?
Yes.
I figured.
Thank you.
All right.
You mean review it in relation to the variance?
Yes.
Reviewed in terms of fire safety.
Yeah,
Do you not think some of the permanent homes are fire hazards?
There's not permanent homes.
I know they're not, but you're asking for a stipulation, potentially, that would exist on a permanent home.
How many
I mean, some
permanent
of the-
homes are 5 foot apart?
Would you like to list the subdivisions?
Well, those subdivisions that are 5
All we're
foot
doing
apart.
is asking the fire marshal, is he okay with
Is
this
he okay with
variance
it?
request? There's no harm in that.
As a note, the fire marshal is part of SAC, so this would have been sent to the fire marshal within SAC because this did go to SAC. But we will reach out directly to them within this month's time, or however long it is between now and the next meeting, to get a specific written statement from them.
Mr. Chairman, on this fire marshal question, that's not our purview. Fire marshal, as Megan said, is part of SAC. I mean, what's next? We're going to call the game warden and make sure they hadn't damaged a squirrel's nest?
No.
We're going to call.
We got to make
We're
sure
gonna
that
call-
the deer can walk through there.
Again, we're going down literal rabbit trails.
You're
on
wrong
things we don't
on this
need to
one,
be
Mr.
concerned
Hammond.
about.
State law says,
We're
state law says otherwise.
we're not fire marshals.
I'll remember that. All right, let's do this mountain thing. Mountain Grove appeal.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is an appeal of staff's decision to approve Mountain Grove Group Development, the case shown on the screen. Just wanted to note the plan changes from the original 2021 RV park approval to the group development approval in 2025. It was from an all RV park group, all RV park development to a group development with a mixture of manufactured homes and RVs. The road layout was also adjusted. Here is an image of the site plan that was approved in 2021 as an RV park only development. And here is the group development that was approved in October. You can see a slight change to the layout of the roads, but the main change here is that many of the RVs that were originally approved were changed to manufactured homes. The appellant is Holder Paget Littlejohn and Prickett LLC on behalf of Zach Cooper, Tom Cooper, Dan Greengrich, and Jackson Batson. The reasons for appeal are outlined here. I'll go through these statements that are included. These also were included in your packets. Statement 1, exceeding administrative authority. The appellant states that the LDR only authorizes administrative approval for limited non-substantive modifications to previously approved plans. The appellant also states that the 2025 approval materially altered the previously approved Mountain Grove RV Park by introducing manufactured homes alongside recreational vehicles and reclassifying the project as a group development. The appellant also states that the modification represents a substantive change in land use, occupancy type, and development intensity, transforming the project from a transient use RV park to a mixed permanent residential development, and that under LDR 1.6.1, such modifications are subject to full Planning Commission review, not administrative approval. The applicant also provided Statement 2, which is a failure to require updated traffic impact study under LD Article 9. The appellant states that failure to require a new or updated TIS under Article 9 constitutes a procedural and substantive error, as it prevented proper evaluation of roadway capacity, traffic safety, and infrastructure adequacy for the modified development. The appellant provided Statement 3, which was a lack of public notice and process. The appellant states that under LDR Section 1.5.1 and 3.3, major modifications or new group developments are to be reviewed through the Planning Commission process with public notice and opportunity for comment. The appellant states that by treating the revised plan as a continuation of the 2021 approval, the county deprived surrounding property owners and interested parties of notice and participation rights. The appellant also stated that the absence of public review further underscores that the 2025 approval should have been processed as a new major subdivision or group development application, not administrative amendment. All right. So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask, so this is just an overview of what the appeal states. Staff does have their response to this as well that we'd like to go over. Please let me know when you'd like to address that portion of it.
All right, so you're for the appeal. You're in favor of the appeal? Well, let me rephrase that. I'm sorry. I'm confused. The request, appeal to administrative approval. Okay, you approved this change that they requested.
Yes, well, they submitted a new application to make it a group development.
Okay, which contains both.
Which contains both. That's what made it a group development. So previously you had an RV park, falls under Section 15 of the LDR.
Right.
And I have this to cover in my staff notes as well, but just quickly. When you add manufactured home parks, you have a mix of uses. That makes it a group development. It falls under Section 12 of the LDR rather than Section 15. However, the guidelines for design have to be applied, so 15 and also 14 for manufactured homes. The design guidelines were followed for each one of those. That's part of why staff had them come back through for SAC review.
Okay. Let's go with the opposition first, and that way staff can respond to that as well. All right. Barry Stroller. All these folks have a total of 10 minutes.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask a question of you and/or staff?
Sure.
On an appeal process, on the applicant appealing staff's decision, the applicant has to prove that staff erred in making the decision, correct?
No. The applicant's not making the appeal, right?
Yeah.
No, it's homeowners around it.
It's the
Well,
homeowner.
whoever's making
The
the appeal
appellant group.
against,
Okay.
yeah, the appellant
Right,
group.
which is different than the applicant, like
Okay.
the developer
All right,
applicant.
excuse my
They
nomenclature.
did apply to appeal, but we would call them the appellant.
Okay, the appellant it has to prove that staff erred in staff's decision.
Yes.
That is our only question this evening.
That's right.
That
Did we
staff
apply
erred in
the
staff's,
written-
we're not relitigating whether this is approved or not approved. We're just whether staff made an error or not.
Right. If you were to find in favor of the appellant, so against staff's decision, you would need to have the application go back through a process, and if you found that it needed planning commission approval, that process would be to come back to planning commission.
Good point. Name and address.
Barry Stroll, 620 Langley Road, Travelers Rest. I live right off Edwards Road, and starting in 2021, we never heard of the first zoning change when they put the first one in, so I'm going back there that this should have been approved from the start. Currently, when they approved that, they clear-cut the land, and it's been a mess ever since. The trees are coming down. The prairie woodpeckers have disappeared. They have runoff, and now currently under the current construction they put their holding septic tanks in. I don't know how they got approved for septic to start with almost 200 homes in there. The septic tanks are above, I don't know how the county approved, above the runoff ponds. So if them septic tanks are ruptured, that septic is going to run down into these runoff ponds the way they have it designed. And Langley, or I should say Virginia Road, at the widest point, is only 14 feet wide, It has been touched. I've been living there 28 years. That road has never been touched by anybody in the time I've been there. You cannot get two RVs side by side on there. Their entrance is at a blind turn. You come out, they might be able to see, but people coming the other way couldn't see where they're coming in and out of that driveway. And the pond, there was a pond on there that at one time was a good fishing pond. Since they clear cut it, it's been polluted and it's nothing but a mud puddle now. So, since it's only 10 minutes, I'll let others talk.
Well, quick question when the clock stops. You're appealing the main fact that they decided to allow manufactured homes in this park instead of RVs. Do you have a reason for that?
Well, it doesn't fit community standards. Like, our area is rural, and there's still people in that area, believe it or not, that have wells. We feed the animals. Some people still have animals, and whatever vegetable gardens, we use wells to cultivate our gardens and feed whatever animals there. And you're putting 200 houses on a septic system. Where's that sewage going to run? It's going to run either down one way or another. Where's their drain field? Is that in the protected area of what they are calling green space?
Yeah, but the same thing would apply to RV or
It's
a mobile
either
home.
one. They shouldn't have started to start with.
To follow Mr. Bickle's question, if I may, how did staff err in approving that?
Pardon?
How did staff make an error in approving that?
Well, it should have never been approved because there was no septic there. You had to bring septic in. There's no sewage in there.
Yeah.
And the
Okay.
way the land contour is, there's no runoff for it in there. And like I said, Virginia Road is only 14 foot wide at its widest point. The rest is broken asphalt. It hasn't been touched in, like I said, 28 years.
We didn't approve the original plan. Staff did that as well? Because it was,
Staff at the time.
Just an RV
yes,
park?
It's
Okay.
an RV park approval.
all right, thank you, sir. Megan Serrano? I got it right, I think. Name and address, please.
Hello, Megan Serrano, 4B 7th Street.
All right.
I'm here with Holder Paget, Littlejohn and Prickett on behalf of several residents nearby this development. And they're all going to get up here and speak about specific issues that have come up being near the development. But I want to just clarify one point and answer your question on how staff erred in granting this revised application. And really the main issue here is that the introduction of manufactured homes in addition to the pre-approved RV park, it's materially altering the project's use, intensity, and character, converting it from transient occupancy to permanent dwellings and increased infrastructure demands in various ways. It's our position that under LDR 1.61 that this change exceeds the scope of administrative approval and review, and we're simply requesting that, you know, if they want to add these manufactured homes or whatever with this development, we just want them to follow the procedure and have that go through a full planning commission approval. So our request here today is to reverse that 2025 approval that adds the manufactured homes and require not only the public notice, but an updated traffic impact study and full commission review to, you know, have this process go through properly. That's the main concern, you know, on that end. And then we also have other statements to make about the impact to the community.
The zoning's unzoned, right? You really can't control what goes there because of the zoning. I mean, staff has the authority, it's not in our purview. Our purview covers subdivisions where there's individual lots that are well-defined, tax map numbers and all that. I'm afraid we're a little bit out of our purview here. Any questions for this?
I have a comment. The manufactured home portion of the ordinance and the LDR are, it always baffled me how it's probably the most stringent when it comes to lots in general. And I know these aren't supposed to be individual lots, I guess, because it's a group development.
They're spaces,
And
aren't they?
they would be permanent permanent dwellings, more so than an RV, so you would think they would increase the traffic count. So it is a question why
Why would a mobile home increase the traffic count if it's the
they're
same number?
permanent. They're permanent. People are living there.
And people can't
RVs
live in
tend,
an
RV parks tend to have less traffic counts than
Okay.
residential neighborhoods.
All right. Sure.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so I do have
But don't
a
ask her.
note from Kurt, the county's traffic
Mm-hmm.
engineer. He said the trip generation analysis shows that mobile home park and RV parks have similar traffic patterns. So when you look at the numbers, they're very comparable to RV
Yeah.
sites
That
alone
was- that was in our packet.
this mix.
He showed all those numbers.
Well, there's a neighborhood up to just at the end of my road that is made up of manufactured homes, and I can tell you, they create as much traffic as the subdivision across the road.
Yeah. But your question is comparing RVs and mobile homes.
Mhm.
So I'm, the
Well, and the
county
fact
traffic
that
engineer-
why this is being treated as a group development when you've got a combination of different types of
Yes.
housing that are being proposed. Is that why?
Yes.
Yeah, that, I mean,
Yeah.
that, it's because you're mixing them.
Are tiny homes not included in this plan?
Tiny, well, RVs are tiny homes if they're on wheels.
If they're on wheels.
Right.
So if you don't take the wheels off, we don't call it a tiny home?
No,
Community?
a tiny home development are homes that are built to the International Residential Code standards as a
On-site.
stick-built on-site
Okay.
dwelling that
Okay.
has certain parameters on square footage.
Uh-huh.
It's not one that's brought in on wheels
All
or
right.
anything like that, like an RV is manufactured on the chassis.
Yeah, they,
Okay, that
they,
makes
they
sense.
have really misused that term here tonight.
Now, say that again. So a tiny home,
Yes, I'll go into my tiny home spiel. I do this quite frequently. So you have three types of dwellings. You have stick-built homes. You have homes that are built under HUD standards for manufactured housing, and you have recreational vehicles. Modular homes fall into the stick-built homes. So if you have a dwelling that someone either resides in recreationally or permanently that is built under what's called RIVIA, which is the Recreational Vehicle Industrial Association standards, it is a recreational vehicle. It is built, manufactured as an RV. It may look like a beautiful log cabin, but it is built as an RV, and it meets those standards. It does not meet the standards of a stick-built home. So a tiny home under the tiny home ordinance of the LDR are homes that are built on-site that just meet a smaller square footage than what a traditional home may be. International Residential Code added that section into their code within the last 5 years. And by doing so, we amended the LDR to incorporate a section for tiny homes that are built under the International Residential Code, but are not built under RIVIA standards. So they are no different than going out and building a 3,000 square foot home in the middle of a subdivision. It is the same, it just has a different set of standards for different square footage for rooms, total square footage for the dwelling, things like that. But it is on a permanent foundation.
I can think of several tiny home developments right now.
They
that
are
were
they,
rolled in
They
on
call
wheels.
themselves tiny home developments. They do not meet the definition of a tiny home development under the LDR.
They're in zoned portions of Greenville
They
County.
are an RV park at that point.
But they're, okay,
We're talking
Miss-
yeah.
and manufactured housing. Tiny homes have nothing to do with this particular application.
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Mr. Parr?
So if we approve this appeal tonight, what happens? Does this circle back and come back to us, or it circles
That's what
back
she said.
to staff?
If you find in favor of the appellant, so you would be, they have three statements there. I think you'd need to clarify what statement you find, staff was in fault of. And then if it is that it didn't come before planning commission, if that's what you were to decide, then it would need to come back to planning commission.
Okay.
It's circled back.
If it's unzoned, do we have?
No, you don't. Good point that I made half an hour ago.
Right.
Why is it with us then?
Why,
Why did it get on our
why are
docket?
we even seeing this if this is, this is?
Mr. Chairman, can I also make a follow-up point? on
Sure.
that? Since staff treated this as a group development, and that's one of the arguments is that the group development should have came here, the LDR clearly states that group developments, when no new lots are being created, are handled on a staff level and does not go to planning commission. It
That is
stops
true.
at SAC. So what that means is that all group developments moving forward for any group development and within Greenville County, zoned or unzoned, would then come before planning commission. It sets a precedent for all development, not just for this individual site.
So all group development moving forward, due to that precedence, would come to us
Correct.
from that point
It
forward.
changes the interpretation of the ordinance. It does not apply to just this specific site.
Because we would be
Appeals-
setting
Appeals go countywide.
Ma'am, I'm sorry.
Well, I will
Have you
just
got
add
any other?
something That, just to go off that, and I'm just, based off what you're saying, I mean, there's no new lots added, but the use has changed substantially with the change in residency. It will have a different use, and I mean, you could put an apartment complex on it, and it's not gonna change the number of lots, but you're gonna have more residents coming in. So we just think, that's why we suggest that this go through full planning commission review. We just think that the approval was a little bit outside of the scope of administrative review.
I understand,
But
but
we
you.
have additional comments as well.
The point you just made, an apartment complex could have gone there and it would not have come to the planning commission. It would have been approved by staff.
And we'd still be appealing it. That's just my point that I'm saying, to give you the opportunity to set that precedent.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Zach Cooper, I think. How much time do we have? 3 minutes.
Better make it quick. Zach Cooper, 316, Virginia. I feel like you've already made your decision, but I'll say it anyways. The bottom line is these units are going to come in. We're going to have, give or take, 400 cars up and down our road every day. As y'all have heard, Virginia Road is extremely tight, 14 feet. You can't have a regular 2 cars up and down it. I don't believe a traffic study, impact study has been done on Virginia Road. I know that we sent in for a Freedom of Information Act requesting all of this information that was submitted, and to my knowledge, we do not have any of that information to date, unless something has changed or that was sent over, but I could be wrong.
Do you know what department you submitted your FOIA request
You would have
with?
talked to Megan.
Okay.
But we have not been privy to any of that information. But I know a traffic study has obviously been done on Pine Log. But again, I use this road every single day, my family and I. I run on it, walk on it, and it's hazardous. Our babysitter just a few weeks ago got in a head-on collision just from a simple car coming down the road because it's not big enough. And 3 weeks ago, I had a delivery truck back in to my driveway and crash in the columns because the road's not wide enough to make a simple turn. That doesn't count for all the hundreds of cyclists going back and forth to Hincathy's place through our area. And as the gentleman mentioned earlier, there's potholes, needs overlay, needs road work, no runoff, no lines, no signs, not really anything up and down Virginia. So anything that we can do about keeping the entrance in and out of this place, primarily on Pine Log, if there's an option to work with the developer to do something to keep everybody off of Virginia, I think it would go a long ways. But at a minimum, a project like this, I think we should have a current infrastructure TIS study done, not just on Pine Log, but Virginia as well, because we are going to see the majority of this traffic. So, thank you.
Thank you. Let's see if we can get Jackson Batson in real quick. How much time I got?
There's 5 minutes left. I'm sorry, we used 3.
Oh, you got 5 minutes.
All right, Jackson Batson. I live at 440 Langley Road in TR. Our property backs up within a stone's throw of this development. Along the same lines as Zach, I want to tell you why we're trying to appeal this. One, it is a permanent change in use. I would like to have this held in committee until they can change the ordinance and update things and actually where you have a say-so in this. But the biggest thing is the neighborhood value, conformity to the neighborhood. When you go from RVs to permanent homes is a fundamentally different land use that's been covered. The shift changes the expectations that the nearby homeowners relied on when they purchased their properties. The permanent residential density directly impacts the marketability, perceived neighborhood quality, and the future resale values. The impacts are exactly what major changes of this nature should go through the planning commission, not through an administrative approval. So we're all open to something reasonable, but I think it needs to go through the proper planning commission anytime there's a development, zoned or unzoned. So, I think we need to go back to something like the 3.1 ordinance that got tossed.
Bless you on that one.
Bless you.
Yeah, bring back 3.1. All righty, we have one other, Tony Anderson.
Is that your phone? Is that your phone vibrating?
I am Tony Anderson, 380 Langley Road, which is just over from this property. I own property that backs up to it. I really have heard several different things that may be of issue in this. I've heard about bunched arrowhead stuff, territory not getting protected already, and people having concerns about that. I've heard of people talking about the traffic impact problems, the other things. My biggest concern right now is the runoff, whether it be stormwater or whether it is wastewater. My property, like I said, backs up directly to it. And I haven't seen anything that really defines what's going to go on there. And the main venue for this water, whatever type it is, to get away from this property comes right down behind my property. And I'm curious as to what it might be doing. I have not seen anything defined on that yet as far as whether it's septic tanks. I've heard that. I've heard that, there is a stormwater retention pond being used from the old fishing pond. I've heard that some of the siltation fence is not what it ought to be at this point in time. And just generally, complaints related to the way the work's being done right now. But I'm in particularly concerned about smells from wastewater collection, treatment, whatever might be going on there on the backside. Okay. And I have heard that there would be some fencing that would be going around the property to, not fencing, but shrubbery going around the property, and having 190-some homes in a very small area is going to generate a lot of people traffic, let's say, that would be coming on over my way, I'm afraid. So that's concerns I have. They're not all environmental. Some of it is. But I'm concerned about it, and I'd like to know more about it if I can. And I heard that they had a meeting this last Wednesday at a local fire department there, and apparently it didn't get publicized real good. I didn't hear about it, neither did Mr. Batson, or things like that. So I'm here just primarily hunting information.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. That's the last one who signed up in opposition. In favor, Gabriel?
Mr. Chairman, may I make an observation?
Sure.
Again, and make sure I'm correct here, the appellant's charge is to prove that staff erred in 3 different areas. Or is
That's
it
right.
one of the 3, 2 of the 3, or all 3 of the 3?
That's right,
All 3.
All 3.
because it's limited to what was included within the appeal documentation.
So the appellant was charged with saying that staff, 1, exceeded administrative authority. I didn't hear anything that proved staff exceeded administrative authority from the appellant. 2, they failed to obtain a traffic impact study. Traffic impact study was not obtained, but my understanding is it was required to be obtained. Number 3, there was a lack of public process and notice. Again, I didn't hear anything from the appellant proving a lack of process and notice on behalf of staff. Not hearing the appellant prove not one of the three or two of the three or three of the three, I don't see any reason we need to hear the folks that are in favor of the favor of the subdivision. I'd like to make a motion, we uphold staff's opinion and move on.
Ms. Staton, would you like to respond? I do want to give at least staff's chance to respond.
For the purpose of adhering to typical procedure, I would like to respond.
Sure, go right ahead.
Okay. All right. I'm pretty much going to be summarizing from the memo that was provided in the packet for the public record. For some background, on October 6, 2025, Subdivision Administration issued an approval of PP 2025-148 Mountain Grove Group Development. On October 20th, 2025, under the provisions of Section 1.6.2 of the LDR, a notice of the appeal of staff's approval of PP 2025-148 was submitted to Greenville County Subdivision Administration, and this is a response to those statements. First, I'd like to outline kind of the authority of the subdivision administrator. So under the provisions of the LDR, the subdivision administrator has the authority to administer and interpret regulations therein in accordance with Section 1.6 administration. Section 1.6.5 interpretation elaborates on the scope of this authority, which gives the parameters under which staff has discretion to interpret and apply regulations as they go to administer the LDR. So as such, here are some responses to the appeal statements. For Statement 1, LDR, the statement is that staff exceeded administrative authority under LDR 1.6.1 through 1.6.2. LDR 1, Section 1.6.1 outlines the administrative process that a preliminary plan or plat must follow to receive Planning Commission review, and further outlines the procedures for Planning Commission's review of a preliminary plan. In regards to PP 2025-148 Mountain Grove Group Development, LDR 1.6.1 does not apply because this is a group development rather than a preliminary plan. Preliminary plans are for major subdivisions of 7 lots or more, while group development plans are for developments that have multiple structures on one lot and falls under the definition of a group development in the land development regulations. While preliminary plans are required to go to Planning Commission for review and decision and thus must follow LDR 1.6.1, group developments are not subject to this section. This is clearly outlined in LDR Article 12, Section 2, which states the following: for projects that are an overall development where no new lots are created, only a group development plan is submitted to Planning and Zoning for approval by the Subdivision Advisory Committee. Proper application of Article 12, Section 2 did occur as staff brought the group development plan to SAC for their review on August 18, 2025. This is proper procedure regardless of the magnitude of any proposed modification or revision of a group development, since group developments of this type on one lot are clearly to adhere to Article 12, Section 2, which only requires SAC. The appellants also assert that staff exceeded their authority by not requiring proper public notice and a new application. A new application and new application number was required for this development when the application was brought forward to SAC, and public notice signs were provided to the applicant and required to be placed on site. Therefore, staff did not exceed authority because these items were appropriately addressed in accordance with the requirements of the LDR. Article 1.6.2 outlines the process for appeal. In bringing forward this appeal to the Planning Commission, as outlined by this section, staff has clearly adhered to the LDR. This section does not otherwise apply to the actual grounds for appeal related to the Mountain Grove Group Development application. In regards to Statement 2, which was failure to obtain a traffic impact study, as part of the SAC review process and as outlined in LDR 12.2, the application was reviewed by Greenville County's traffic engineer for compliance with the LDR. In reviewing this application, it was found that the updated traffic impact study was not required for review and approval of this application. In addition, the application did not increase the intensity in regards to traffic since the initial 2021 RV park application was for 193 spots, and the updated group development application was for the same number of spaces, 193, but with a mixture of manufactured homes and recreational vehicle spaces, which the traffic engineer has confirmed would have roughly the same impact. For Statement 3, lack of public process and notice, the appellant, cites LDR Section 1.5.1 and 3.3 to support a claim that staff did not provide the correct public process and notice of this for this submittal. LDR 1.5.1 does not exist, so it is assumed that this was a reference to LDR 1.6.1, which, as noted in staff's response to Statement 1, does not apply to this application because it is not a preliminary plan and does not follow this procedure due to the requirements of LDR 12.2. Article 3.3 is entitled Major Subdivisions and in parentheses Preliminary Plan Procedures. Since PP 2025-148 is a group development, which by definition is not a major subdivision, and since no new lots are proposed, the procedures and requirements outlined in Article 3.3 are not applicable to this proposed development. In addition, staff did require a new application that was required to fully follow the public notice process and procedures outlined by the LDR, and staff was diligent in ensuring that the LDR was properly followed. Fully follow the public notice process and procedures outlined by the LDR, and staff was diligent in ensuring that the LDR was properly followed by bringing this to Subdivision Advisory Committee for review and approval, since that was the proper procedure to follow for this development application type. Public notice was provided, and in the proper procedure outlined by the LDR was followed. Therefore, staff did not err in review and approval of this application. Mr.
All righty. I admit
I'll second it.
Ms. Manning has a second. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Matasevic.
I know that this looks like a bait and switch to a lot of people. You know, we approved RV parks, but we're putting something else in instead. And now, on the one hand, what we were given in our packets, what is being proposed by the owner of the property, quite frankly, looks like something that, at least optimistically, an awkward spot to be in.
It's unzoned.
I know.
Okay.
Might
Are you-
I ask staff a couple questions, just a couple for
Sure, Ms.
clarification?
Phillips.
Be able to have more discretion over huge increases in both apartments, or maybe not apartments, but at least what's termed as group development. And you end up with a lot of vehicles getting added to the roads that are already suffering. And current residents that have been paying taxes for years end up suffering because, and their quality of life goes down. And they've been paying taxes for years here versus new people moving into these new group developments.
Mr. Chairman,
That is all.
if I may, that,
Do I have a
since
choice?
staff's interpretation comes out of what the LDR says, where it says does not come back to planning, or does not go to planning commission,
Mhm.
that would have to be some type of a text amendment that is done to the land development regulations.
No, I agree with you. This is going down a rabbit hole that we don't need at the moment. All righty. Any other statements? The motion is to uphold staff. All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, raise your hand. All right, staff is upheld 6-3. Chris, I hate to do this to you, but we need a 5-minute recess. No, you just sit there 5 extra minutes. The old guy's got to run down the hall.
Recording stopped.
Cheeseburgers like good one. It's been a long
Oh, yeah.
You can do it here. You can do it anyway. I said, oh, that's a good one, I like that. Bus where you you guys do the drone shots later. Yeah, I mean,
How many more things we got? One more thing?
back in, right?
Did you hold my gavel? That's the only thing I beat anymore. Oops.
There's one trash can in this room, it's behind Mr. Hammond. You can just set them in the box if you want. I'll throw them out.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
All righty.
Recording in progress.
The request from REWA. Okay.
All right, this is a request for Planning Commission written consent to perform work in the Hollington Conservation Easement for utility purposes. I'm just going to give a quick presentation of what we have. So here is the final plat for Hollington. Then there's a note on the plat that states the removal of trees and natural vegetation is permitted in the development phases for the purpose of utility easements, passive recreational uses, and drainage ways only, and with the written permission of the Planning Commission and the proper notations on the final plat. Neither the developer, property owners, nor any advisory or community board shall be granted permission to remove or destroy any trees or natural vegetation from the open space area for passive recreational or any other purposes without the express written permission of the Greenville County Planning Commission or its staff. Normal maintenance and the removal of dead or fallen trees are permitted and recommended. Here is an image of the location of REWA's easement acquisition area on the Hollington Homeowner Association property for the Gilder Creek trunk line. Per the applicant, REWA's project necessitates the removal of trees and vegetation within the new easement area in order to complete construction and increase the capacity of the sewer line. The applicant requests approval to remove trees and vegetation within the conservation easement, limited to the new easement area. This is a little more complicated than just what I've just said, though, so I think, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to turn it over to you, and I think there are other people who can kind of explain what's going on here.
I doubt it. I'm sorry. Nobody signed up in opposition, and we have somebody, I think it's Luke something.
Thank you, Chairman.
Are you REWA?
Luke Burke, I represent REWA.
Okay.
I'm the lawyer.
Oh.
819 East North Street. I just wanted to give you a little background on what we're trying to do. This conservation easement names the Planning Commission as a third-party administrator of the conservation easement. I'm personally not entirely sure they're allowed to do that, but we're here out of respect to ask written consent to allow us to remove trees along an existing line. And I'll give you some background. There was actually an emergency repair done upstream on Gilder Creek in 2023 of one of the REWA sewer lines. They were able to bypass it before the line completely fell into the creek, so there wasn't a leakage. But it showed them that due to the erosion on Gilder Creek, it is necessary not only to fix the stream bank, but it's also necessary to remove the line slightly further off the creek bed. In this case, it has to be moved 2.7 feet off of the existing easement onto the Hollington Conservation easement, which is that very southern portion of the plat that you see there. So I just want to make clear this is 1,064 square feet, which is 0.02 acres. And we're asking for the ability to clear that to install the line, and then also to maintain it so no trees grow up and the roots go into the line. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Commissioners, any questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Allen?
how many trees are we talking about?
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, are we talking about forest or just they were planted or?
So that is a buffer area between, on the creek, so it looks like any typical creek. There's a lot of, small trees. I'm not aware of any large trees that need to be removed.
Is there any way we can at least add a condition that you'd at least replace what you take up? Or?
That might be a question for your attorney. I'm not sure that the conservation easement gives you, it gives you the right to consent or not consent. I'm not sure what conditions you're allowed to put on that or not.
Where'd it go?
Mr. Chairman, I don't believe they can plant trees that will grow roots that might grow into the sewer line.
Yeah, he just said that.
Sorry, Chairman. I meant, we could not plant trees in the easement area. I don't know if you'd be allowed to tell us that we have to grow trees on the Rewall property.
We're not sure
We got
we
room
could
there.
even be hearing this, but anyway.
I agree. And if the Plan Commission says this is not our responsibility, I respect that too, and that is fine. But we didn't want to move forward without asking for your consent.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Moore?
question, granted, you can't put trees on it, but do you intend to have some kind of vegetation on, like grass or like that, and don't just leave it dirt?
Yes. I mean, it'll still be on the stream bed, so it won't be fully grass. But yeah, the REWA easements, generally, if you see them, they have grass on them, and then they maintain that grass. Almost, sometimes you can see, it wouldn't be in this circumstance because it's not close to any roads, but sometimes you'll drive by a REWA easement and it'll look like a little path through there that you can walk through. Because once the sewer's in there, you really can't see it. It just looks like a grass field. So.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Parham?
So if I think I heard you correctly. You said less than 3 feet, it's being moved.
2.7 feet.
Right,
yes.
2.7 feet. How long has this been there? In other words, the one that's needing to be moved, how long has it been there?
Since the 70s.
50
Okay, so it takes a long time apparently, unless we have a Helene kind of event that moves that creek. I guess what I'm trying to say is 2.7 enough? You know, y'all have asked for that, I suppose, you know, but.
So it's 2.7 additional feet of easement.
Not
they
just total, okay.
Yeah, they already have an existing
Okay.
easement there.
I'm with
so
you, I
that-
misunderstood,
yeah.
thank you.
They're encroaching into the conservation easement.
2.7, I got you.
2.7
I
feet.
apologize. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, as much as I, and at the end of the day, the sewer line needs upgraded.
Yes.
And that is for the benefit of the residents that it serves. So to take 15 feet extra to upgrade this, I believe, is probably in the large public interest. So I would make a motion that we approve this based on this oddity where Planning Commission is given this authority.
Second.
Second. Third.
Fourth.
This is unusual. It's, you see Planning Commission all through this document, you know, there shall be no clearing, burning, cutting, or destroying of trees or vegetation without our permission, and I just hope you put it back in the normal, reasonable fashion, so.
Mr. Chair, before we vote, I have a question.
Again?
Yes. So I think I read, just for clarification and for the record, that people that haven't seen the packet, I think I read that the folks that own the conservation property you're taking over, they've already approved this. They're in favor of it. Is that?
That's correct. They've
Okay.
granted us the easement to
Right.
run it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I know Mr. Hammond made the motion. Who had the second?
No.
Oh, Mr. Phillips made the motion. Mr. Hammond has a second. Any further discussion? All in favor of granting Rewall this additional easement into the conservation easement, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy. Mr. Holland said Happy Thanksgiving. I thought that was funny. Hangry? Mr. Carlisle, the planning report. You want to say anything about it?
Couple things. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So at your seats, you should have found a nice little, well, not really little, but a little booklet that's the audit.
Huge presentation.
Yeah, you can thank Jonathan for that. He did a good job putting it together. That is the audit of the different area plans, all 19 area plans that are out there. Our long-range staff's done a good job of going through, looking at ways to update the demographics, economic shifts, and regulatory changes for each area plan. What you have is our recommendations. And so we're not asking you to take action on this tonight or anything, but just to review it. And as you have feedback or want to participate in the process of updating these area plans, to provide us with feedback and just contact Jonathan and I how you want to participate. So going on to transportation, just a note that we are still moving forward with identifying a consultant to help us up with our long-range transportation plan update. We've narrowed it down to 3. We'll be interviewing them the first week of December, so moving forward with that. And just a reminder that before you leave tonight, please turn in your iPads to staff so we can get those updated and cleaned. We'll have those back to you before your next meeting, whether in December or January. And then lastly, since I know we have a couple more things to talk about still, but just as this is the director's report, I want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving.
Old business, memo from the planning director.
All right. So in my memo, I outline the 5-year comprehensive update as well as the open space plan. Remember that we presented this update to you a couple months ago for the 5-year update. We've sent it to you, you've gotten us comments back, we've made those updates. Just wanted to see if you had any last suggestions or comments on that. It's already live on the website, so it's out there for the public to review. And then as for the open space plan, we are asking for a vote on that tonight with the recommendation for approval or denial, whichever you feel is most appropriate, to send it to council for approval by resolution.
All righty, I'd like to take the 5-year review first. Does anybody have any problems with just doing a resolution on this?
Again, the 5-year update, wouldn't need a vote
Oh, that's
or
right.
approval.
I'm sorry.
It's just if you have any last suggestions before we tie the bow on it.
Get it taken care of this year.
Go ahead.
I'm really reluctant to say this, but I have to say it, okay? I was hoping that the 5-year comprehensive review would be a real review, would be setting the pace for some very substantial changes that are needed in Greenville County. And I don't mean to be negative about things, but I guess I do. I read through the 10-year plan, and I can see the 5-year plan is simply parroting exactly what the 10-year plan is doing. I saw many references to the UDO, and the UDO was soundly defeated, and I see several references. And I understand it's a historic document, I suppose, at this point right now, but I have some problems with so many references to the UDO. I have been on the Planning Commission for a little bit more than a year and a half, and I tell everyone that I meet that I'm on the Planning Commission. I'm very, very happy to be on the Planning Commission. And yet I find it quite interesting. I have not met a single person, and I'm not exaggerating, I've not a single person who said, bravo, the development here is fantastic. There's some real concerns that need to be addressed. And I was hoping that the 5-year plan would address those issues so that we could have a renaissance here in Greenville County. There are a lot of people that are coming here, But we need to preserve the charm. We need to preserve the history. We need to preserve the quaintness of Greenville County. Those people are coming from places of urban sprawl, and I don't want to see more urban sprawl. That's one of the reasons that people ask, why do you say no to so many of the developments? We're looking for communities. We're looking for neighborhoods. And I don't mean to sound negative, but I guess I do want to sound negative. I'm trying to say at this point right now, we need to have a new vision a new way of looking at things, and I was hoping that the 5-year plan would be able to present that. So as a result, I would like to have my name taken off the 5-year plan. I just can't support it.
Mr. Chair. I won't be as eloquent as Ms. Manning. I agree pretty much with everything she said. I would not like my name on this as well because I had nothing to do with it. I don't want to be blamed nor given kudos for it. I didn't do anything with it. I had hoped to have the opportunity to make some changes to it, to actually make changes to the actual comprehensive plan, not a standalone document that kind of talks about it. I wanted to see us make changes because of the out-of-control growth going on here, which much of what we heard tonight from people, that's what it's about. I'm not opposed to growth at all. People got to have places to live, but it is out of control. And so I'm challenging our listeners, people here tonight, talk to your county councilman. If you don't like the way things are going, give us changes in the LDR and our ordinances to make that happen. Thank you.
All right, anybody else?
I'm going to abstain from voting.
We don't have to vote.
Oh,
There's no vote.
well, you're just
if-
asking for comments?
I guess. I
Oh.
mean, if we take no action, they're going to put it on the shelf along with all the other stuff.
Okay.
Anybody else running for council?
I'm not running for council.
I'm
man.
sorry.
Let me just say in response to those questions, if I may, Mr. Chair, that we can remove your names. That's not a problem if that's not a problem. Just to note on the UDO comments, we recognize as staff the UDO was voted down, that it's not a thing. To that point, it's mentioned multiple times because each of those strategies and goals specifically called out that a UDO would address that issue. Therefore, it's in there multiple times saying, this was advanced, this was passed, but it was also reconsidered and removed. So to your point, Ms. Manning, it is a historical document in that regard. We're just trying to say, we moved this way in an attempt to address this strategy, this goal, and we recognize that it is no longer a thing.
But might I say, if that's the case, why don't we then say that if the UDO is trying to address these issues, the issues still remain? Why don't we attack those issues? Why don't we address those issues as issues that need to be taken care of? The people that are here, the residents, people like all of us here, we love this county. We want the gracious living to continue. We don't want the urban sprawl. That's one of the reasons that I left California with my family. We're different here, but I'd like to be able to see that the 5-year plan would reflect that difference and that goal. And it's a commitment towards the existing people that are here as well as the newcomers that are going to be coming here. But I don't want the same old pablum that we saw in the 10-year plan. It needs to be different. It needs to be more inspirational.
So the Enabling Act gives us the ability to make changes to that whenever the Planning Commission decides.
Sure, it
So
doesn't
like I
have to
said-
be 5 years.
So I would recommend that, if we really want to do that, let's get started.
I agree.
All right.
That is something you guys can consider, absolutely.
Yep, what do y'all want to do about the open space plan? Don't everybody speak at once, as usual.
How much did we spend on the open space plan?
160-something thousand.
$164,000. I don't understand, why would we be spending $164,000 on an open space plan when in fact we know that we need to have open space? It was just simply rhetoric. It was a high school term paper, for crying out loud, for $164,000. I'm sorry. And I wish I could be more gentle than that, but you got to call it out. It's just pablum.
Anybody else?
Mr. Chairman.
Mr.
The
Massey.
5-year update is, I know there's some statutory regulation that says county's supposed to do that. Was there any regulation that the county was required to do an open space plan at all?
No.
No, the open space
I can
plan is
answer that.
one way we're addressing some of the goals of the comp plan. And throughout the comp plan, it talks about preserving open space, setting goals to do that. The open space plan lays out those specific goals, keeps it at a high level so that, we're not taking people's property or infringing on their rights. It gives it's the guiding document that would enable us to pass some of those ordinances, do the additional research, do the additional footwork necessary to actually take action and pass ordinances that would allow us to preserve open space and fully
But none
meet
of the
those goals.
planning commissioners were involved in any part of either the five-year comprehensive plan or the open space plan. None of us were consulted.
Anybody else? I don't know, a recommendation of mine would be hold the open space plan until we decide what to do with cluster.
I think that's a wise decision.
Dan, that's the first nice thing you said to me. Wasn't it?
I think I agree with you, Frank.
Can I get a motion to that effect?
Hold the open space plan until we get the cluster figured out.
I second.
Mr. Hammond made a motion to hold the open space plan until such time other things get resolved. Mr. Holland has a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? I did something right.
May I make one comment? I can't help myself. I'm sorry. If we're dragging out the soapbox from the closet,
Oh, Jesus.
I hear growth and sprawl, but you know what I don't hear? Not one single time from anybody on this group, affordable housing. Nobody mentions affordable housing.
set the prices, my dear.
It's not within our purview.
I think it's something we're on the same page. Let's get it addressed.
Most of the stuff discussed tonight has not been in our purview, but if you're going to talk about sprawl, you're going to talk about growth, and you're going to totally ignore affordable housing, you're going to keep turning down things that are affordable, then you're going to get less affordable housing. We're getting ready to look at an impact fee study that's going to make housing even less affordable if it's instituted.
But Mr. Holland, we do not set any of the prices whatsoever.
Thank you, Ms.
Yes,
McDaniel.
sorry,
Appreciate
Mr.
that.
Hammond.
Oh, come on. All right.
We don't. No, but I'm sorry. Affordable housing, people who live in affordable housing should not have to suffer
I
the
agree.
consequences and live on asphalt.
Totally agree with you.
So if I may, about affordable housing, you're correct, you don't set the prices, but housing and affordable housing is a part of the comprehensive plan. It's an element. So it is within your purview to discuss it and develop a plan, a vision for how you want to include affordable housing within the community, within the county.
So I think as we look at the impact fees, that needs to be an aspect of it. Well, there's some ideas a couple of us have mentioned before. And Mr. Holland, maybe we just have a conversation about it. We've never talked about that. So Hammond, she started something.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. So,
don't.
yes,
It's been a long day.
agreed. We're not going to solve it tonight, but maybe tonight's the first step in that direction with an agreement from all of us here that it is something that needs to be addressed and in our purview.
And to your point, Ms. Manning, earlier, where you said you weren't, or no one else on the commission was involved in the open space plan or the comp plan, being here, having only been here for about 5 months, I can't speak to that history, but I can say that whatever directive you guys want to move forward with evaluating the comp plan in the future, you're more than welcome to be involved going
Yeah,
forward.
let him know, or me or him, both,
Exactly.
whatever.
We want your involvement. It's your
Yeah.
plan, so.
They do. Thank you, Steph. New business, the resolution discussion, which I have no earthly idea what the heck that is.
Okay. So recently, it was brought to our attention that about 2 years ago, there were a couple of resolutions passed.
Oh, that thing.
Yeah. One called for staff to provide data on subdivisions approved that were on septic or sewer, as well as the number of lots in each of those types of subdivisions. We're supposed to present a report on that annually. That has not happened for reasons that, again, I cannot explain the history there. It just did not occur. We are capable of producing that report, but since it was just brought to our attention, it'll take some time to gather that data. We can bring it to you in your January meeting, if that works for you all.
And that's on septic?
Correct.
Okay.
Can,
And so,
oh, I'm sorry. For the next agenda, might we add those resolutions and the number and some kind of reference to them so people kind of know what's going
Yeah.
on?
Yeah, absolutely. We can.
Yeah, or, what the topic is. And the other one, there was that one, and then
Yeah.
there was
Yep.
the one on the future land use?
Correct, and that one's a little more challenging,
Mhm.
just because it effectively asks staff to evaluate the comprehensive plan, or do at least go through a type of
Right.
review every month, not every month, every year. We would be concerned that that would involve consultants and significant fees, so we are evaluating ways to boil it down and meet the spirit of the resolution and get you that information without having to go through those steps. Perhaps something like unto the audit we just gave
Yeah.
you this
We're on
afternoon,
camera,
but
you
that'll
realize.
take a little more time to put
Okay.
together, and it might be further out, but we'll
I know
bring
why
you
you're
additional
here.
updates and thoughts on how we can pursue.
Okay, I think that's good. We just need to keep it maybe, on our agenda as we go, even if it goes for a few months.
I'd rather send it back to Ennis.
Yeah, well.
Let's just start over.
Yeah. And that's an option too, just saying, that's what we're exploring right now.
Sure would. All right, impact fee analysis.
All right.
Did you want to summarize this document, or just let us babble?
I have a little bit of a summary to get you all started, and then you guys can discuss. So we received the initial feasibility study for the impact fees from Tischler Bice. That's included in your packet. Basically, they are recommending that if we want to impose impact fees here in the county, that we apply impact fees for the sheriff's department, for the fire department, and that would include for both station space and apparatus, and EMS. However, they're recommending against impact fees for stormwater, solid waste, and transportation. And I know transportation and roads is a really big thing. That's what they're going for, what we originally started investigating this for. That comes with the caveat that impact fees are only for new development. So if we were to pass an impact fee right now for transportation, those revenues that were generated would only be applicable to improvements related to that new development. It couldn't be for retroactive issues, which we know the county has significant needs. Their recommendation is that since there's that, and since there's a lot of issues that need to be addressed outside of the realm of just growth with the other road infrastructure, that it would need something else, some other funding mechanism to help address the capacity and improvements.
Well, he said wait until the penny sales tax comes back around.
Basically, that's one option.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm, pretty disappointed that the roads were not recommended. And because that was the big driver. I mean, that's what, as I mentioned earlier, nobody ever says, I wish we had worse roads. I wish we had, more growth.
Well, the expert just basically, I'm sorry to interrupt, he just said, let's wait and look at that after the next vote on the penny sales tax.
Right.
The longer we wait, the worse it gets, especially the roads.
But we have to be able to use those impact fees
For that road.
and within a certain time to fix a certain,
Right. But roads are bad all over the county, though. So I'm sure the money can be used there.
No.
but it can't.
Only
be
for the
used
subdivision.
Anywhere else in the county,
But-
right? It has to be
but-
used.
Correct. It has to be tied to that development.
So
within the
not
certain-
the roads supporting getting to that subdivision?
No, and not usually, just.
The ones in front of it and close to it. I mean, like.
Well, that's what I
half
mean.
mile.
Is it 1 mile? Is it a 3 mile
Yeah.
radius? What is it?
It's whatever you want to define.
Okay, then that's good. We get to define
I
it.
believe, but it can't really be more than a half mile. I mean, the whole thing is, they're paying for roads for that subdivision.
Right.
Now-
It would be related directly to the development itself.
Now, I thought there were like 3 or 4, I think there were 3 different ways. And there was a way that if you had a plan in place, I don't know if you can go put a plan in place or it had to be in place already, but if you have a plan, a capital improvement plan in place, you can make it retro, right? Did I read that wrong?
I think you can.
If you had a capital improvement plan, then it didn't have to be for future. It could be to fix the problems. That money could be collected to fix the problems. And I'm sure there are limitations about how close it has to be to it. But I thought that was also one of the options.
Well, I hate to remind everybody, but the summary said that there is no ability to be able to use any of the monies for roads. So any of our discussion here, he says no money for the roads, which seems a little odd because as I recall, there was a resolution by county council that approved going forward with this study, and primarily the thrust was for roads, whether that be roads directly attached to a new subdivision. How much did we pay for this initial report?
$7,500.
That's good to know, because at this point right now, all they want us to do is to increase the sheriff's department, bless their souls, the EMS, the parks, but no roads. And I can't see that it would be in our best interest to go forward at this point right now, because the roads were the whole reason that we were more concerned, very, very concerned about new subdivisions coming in on inadequate roads. And yet, this study is saying that we can't use any of the impact fees.
There's another problem he brings up. What if that subdivision's on a state road? You
Well-
can't do the work on that road.
Jurisdiction for that.
Well, you can, but.
No, you can't.
And at the risk of you saying something smart alecky to me, what's involved, is it doable? Is this just a dumb idea? And I'm okay with you saying that. Can we not take over some of these roads that are state? They become,
The state would give you
yeah, I'm sure they would. But then we send less money to the state. I don't know how that all fleshes out. I'm just asking the question.
road in Greenville County if you wanted.
This really has nothing to do with impact study.
Well, once that happens, then you could charge impact fees on those roads.
Yeah, but it begs the question, this particular consultant is saying no money for roads.
Yeah, and I didn't get
No money
that.
for roads, which I don't get it.
Well,
Well, unless,
it's the only-
because we're being penalized because voters did not vote in the penny sales tax.
If the only reason that he's not suggesting that, and it kind of sounded like it, was because, well, the 2 times it's been turned down. Well, the reason it was turned down is because people didn't trust the government to put the money to where they said it was going to go. That's why it got turned down.
Until such time as county voters approve a local option sales tax for transportation capacity projects, the consultant recommends against transportation impact.
Well, that's a recommendation.
That's a
against it.
recommendation. Can we add it back in? Certainly. We can have these discussions later.
Yeah.
But I really,
So does this really need an okay thumbs up from the planning commission?
yes, to move it on to
Right.
county
You need to make
council.
a recommendation to county council so that they can either move forward with the full feasibility study and get the full details about what it would take to implement this, or if you're going to say tonight, this doesn't work, we don't like it, you can recommend denial. But either way, you need to make a recommendation to
I
county
would
council.
like to hold it till the next meeting to be able to read it a little bit better, being we did have so much in our packet, and that was one of the last things I looked at, to be perfectly honest.
Well,
If
you
you
can
decide-
submit a list of questions and we'll send them to the consultant.
In my recollection, go ahead.
But I'm saying hold it,
I said during this hold,
yeah,
what I'm implying.
okay.
So 2 thoughts, if I may.
Yes.
The first is that, again, it's about the impact fees would be a drop in the bucket, right? They're tied directly to the new development. They wouldn't be able to solve the big picture. You need an additional pot of funding to address the large issues, everything else that's not new development. You put those together and you can move forward. It's not a penalty, it's just how the impact fees work under state law. They are tied by state law to the new development.
Right, but he is at this point saying that we do not have the ability, at this point, he's not recommending any impact fees on a new development going towards improvement of roads. So I don't see, because the whole basis for approving this study to go forward was county council said, roads got to be improved around new subdivisions. So the consultant has come back and said, you can't use the money because the penny sales tax didn't go through.
He's
So
not
you
really-
can't use the money.
No, he recommended waiting.
Yeah, he's not really saying that you're being penalized for not passing the
Recommend.
penny tax. He's saying there needs to be another funding source wherever it's coming from in order,
Yeah.
to address the issues holistically.
If he
That's
ran
what
the
I'm
numbers
saying.
for you, you'd be amazed at how much money
too
it
far
won't.
So
Yeah.
the other thought I had was that if you did decide to hold it this evening, that would allow an opportunity to ask additional questions of the consultant. There is a PowerPoint presentation that's included in the scope of this study that we currently do not have, and then we would be able to bring that next time to further break this down for you if you decided to hold it.
Yeah.
I would like to see that.
Yes.
Yeah, I would
Yes.
like to have a motion to hold the
May I-
impact study.
May I ask a arithmetic question before we get too far? On page 12 of the impact study, and again, if I just can't add numbers and multiply, tell me. But I'm trying to figure out this chart on page 12.
Good luck.
Well, that's what I said. There's not enough money there to do much.
Well, but go to the final, go back to page
16
11,
million.
where it goes, average annual single-family, I guess these are permitted, starts are permitted, average single-family permits over the last 5 years, been in round numbers, 2,500. Multifamily, 765. So average annual increase in housing has been 3,300 units per year over the last 5 years. Am I saying that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So take that over to his chart on page 12, and he's saying total revenue, 2,000 units over a 10-year period. Get down to the 8,000 per impact fee. He's saying $16 million gets created over a 10-year period. That's assuming that's 2,000 units. That's 200 units per year. The average has been 3,300 units per year. Run that at 3,300 a year at 8,000 times 10 years is $240 million. Am I missing something on the chart?
Did we get the wrong consultant?
I mean, am I doing my math wrong?
I think, I didn't double check it, but that sounds about right.
All right, well, my question is, I guess there are a couple of questions. If 240 million is correct, where's that 240 million coming from?
Permits.
No, it didn't come from permits, it's an impact fee. You think the developer's going to swallow
I know
$240
where you're
million
going with
worth
this.
of profit?
The homeowner.
No, I'll tell you, it's partially the homeowner, and it's partially a sales tax on the land seller. So you're taking $240 million in 10 years from, you're increasing the cost of housing.
Yeah.
Affordable housing is going like this. How the cost of housing is going like that, and the land seller is bearing a lot of the brunt as well. Now, if that's what everybody thinks fair, and this isn't a newcomer tax, this isn't people who don't live here today. This may be me moving to another subdivision.
Might be your children, you're
Might be my children, might be my grandchildren. It's not the Yankee tax, as I hear people whisper it in the dark hallways.
It wasn't me.
No, it wasn't Corey.
Kind of pointed this way.
No, but this is not some faceless people we don't know that are piling into Greenville. They're going to pay $240 million. That ain't it at all.
And that's only new construction, because if I read right, renovations.
So maybe we can hit them up too.
So maybe when we try to, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's only new construction, because what I read, renovations were exempt.
Well, yeah, that would be hard to define, wouldn't you think?
And so is affordable housing.
But
No,
my
I
bigger
didn't see
point is,
affordable
Yeah.
housing being
there's
exempt.
a lot more vetting it looks like needs to be done. I'm not saying
Yeah.
impact fees are not a partial solution to our bigger problem.
Right.
But I just don't, there's too much I can't put my finger on.
If it was easy, it'd already been done.
So you agreeing we need to hold?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah,
do
so-
something.
To that point, we can bring that additional information if it's held. And also keep in mind, this is a preliminary feasibility study. If you recommended approval and council ultimately approved this, they would be approving a full feasibility study, which would fully vet this before any action was taken by the county.
I think we have a motion on the
So-
floor. It's been seconded, right?
No.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
So can you
Ms.
repeat?
Manning made a motion.
Can you
Make a
repeat?
motion to hold it?
I made a motion to hold it.
I
So
slept through that.
This is the feasibility study to see if it's even worth pursuing. Make a recommendation to county council. They vote whether or
Right.
not to fund and obtain
To fully fund the big
full
boy.
report.
Ms. Manning made a motion to hold.
I seconded it.
Really?
Yes.
Mr. Parham has a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Damn. Now, my turn. Every November, we typically vote to give staff authority to handle our business in the month of December, because some of us would like the month of December off. I totally agree. The public needs to weigh in. Public comment is very important on all of these applications, and since we have so many, and apparently as of last night, another one coming back, I'm wondering, I'm going to ask staff first, are you available December 17th?
Yes.
Do you want to be?
We are
That
available,
wasn't-
however, it would put a lot on subdivision staff as they've had some turnover, some changes. We can do it, but it would be difficult. We would recommend an alternative, to have a special called meeting in December for Owens Glen specifically, where we've been asked to reconsider that. And then these other 6 items that are on your screen here, have a meeting early in January. That would give us additional time to prepare the staff reports and give you the best analysis possible.
They have to, well, thank you.
May I ask a question?
No. 60, that exceeds the 60 days. And that's just per state law.
But it's a holiday, and if we're choosing to do this, we are taking action. So I say that doesn't apply.
God, you're so wrong on that.
Well,
had this
I may be wrong, but you know what? I mean, that's what everybody says.
No,
60-day
that's what
rule,
Greer
60-day
does, and Greer's wrong.
I don't think we are.
All right. I liked another suggestion someone gave me. Yes, it will push you. Would you be willing to do it on that date at 3 o'clock instead of 4:30?
That just
Still
makes it
doesn't
an
address
hour
the
early.
staffing issues.
What's that get you?
I don't
We'd
see
be
that that gets you.
the same position.
I'm in favor of voting. I just want to go on having the meeting in December. I understand that's not what you guys are used to, but if you were going to review them anyway, then now you don't get to vote on them, we do, which is our job.
You're going to have the same exact time as you had this month and last month.
As you do every month.
No, they get an extra week.
Well, we're only on the 3rd Wednesday of this month.
That's right.
We'll be a week short.
If we can delay them until the 1st of January and still be
No, we
within
can't.
requirements, that
No,
would be
we
great.
can't.
But
We can.
I do think we need to meet.
Mr. Chairman, we can push it to early January and still meet the 60 days.
Okay.
That would be beneficial to staff for the reasons enumerated.
Well, let me throw this out there. What happens in the event early in January? Because are we talking about meeting twice in January?
Yes.
Okay, so let's say we meet the 2nd or 3rd week in January and it snows or we have inclement weather and we cannot get here. What does that do to the 60-day rule that everybody's so concerned
You
with?
talking about the December cases?
Yes.
We would be proposing the first week of January.
Again, weather.
No, I'm sorry.
Does that play a part at all
It could happen
in the
anytime.
60-day rule? I mean, I'm asking since I'm.
But I see where you're going.
Absolutely. But if we're worried about the 60-day rule, where does that fall if we have another Hurricane Helene and we're shut down, we can't meet? Or there's some other natural disaster? So what happens?
So,
I don't know that the
We
state code
zoned.
contemplates that.
That's right. So
So my question is, had we not brought this up, and had we all not gotten 100 emails about we need to meet from taxpayers, that we need to meet in December, you guys would have done whatever you're going to do to review them and prepare, and then either approve it or deny it, correct? Is that correct? What would have been different? Because y'all were planning on getting this done in
So-
December.
We issue a packet with a staff report to you to
No,
review.
It's got to go out by the 10th to
So-
us.
But it's a
That's
month,
what-
we're talking about meeting a month from this week.
Yeah.
So it's still, it's
4
4 weeks
weeks,
away.
which is
And it's
normally 4
typically
weeks.
4 weeks away.
Yeah.
So why, I don't understand the problem if we're a week early this month. So that should have shorted
Let me
you
just
from.
kind of give you an understanding of the subdivision review calendar. So each of these weeks that we have going, these 4 weeks, are a back and forth. So we had SAC this week. We have a week, like I passed out the comments. There is until Tuesday for them to get a resubmittal back to me, and then that has to go back out, and then it comes back again one more time, and then the final one gets in for the packet. And then I check it over one more time and get back with any of the SAC commenters that I had questions about. And all of that has to happen, and then a staff report is created, and then a packet is compiled. So all those things have to kind of follow a specific, you can do a little bit of the staff report early, but you can't do the entire thing because you don't have a finalized plan until after that back and forth has occurred.
And it's 3 weeks, it's 3 weeks before the packet has to go out.
Well, how many of these applications actually have a lot of things that, after the SAC, that might have been better addressed at the submittal by the applicant and not just be something that was pushed back on them or extra required from the SAC, that maybe staff can say, hey, guys, you didn't submit an adequate application. I'm sorry, you're going to have to withdraw it. Or we're going to have to withdraw it, or you're going to, deny it, reject it.
Or hold.
I'm just asking.
I think we need to, we need to meet in December.
Yes.
We need to meet in
I mean, at the end of the
December.
day, we need to meet end
need
of
to meet in
December, 1st
December.
of January, whenever, we might be able to.
We do not need to meet in December.
Yeah, we do.
This is, we.
Yes, we do.
Yes,
Draper-
we do.
Just hear me out. Draper's already said that we can meet the 60-day timeframe and meet in early January. If we meet on December 17th, you got 2.5 days next week, nobody's going to be working.
Correct.
So 2 days.
2 days staff.
So it's going to be a tremendous amount of hardship on staff to put this together for a December 17th meeting when this group, it's never met in December while I've been here, and I don't know the last time it did.
It's been a long time.
If we can meet the 60-day time frame, have it in early January, staff has more time to get it done correctly and thoroughly and get it done on time. There's nothing hell-bent we got to meet in December about.
Well, I have a quick question. So the staff has to make a decision, is that correct, in December? You have to make a decision for all of these in December, is that correct?
Based on the deadline, yeah,
So
you
what's the
should.
difference with you making a decision on these and us making a decision on these?
The packet,
The packet.
yeah.
So if we go without a packet, because in a couple of cases, we've not had packets.
You always have a packet.
Yeah, we always have.
Well, I mean, some of them have,
They come at the last.
last second.
Later. I mean, that has happened.
So if I may, we were suggesting January because we're going to be down one staff member. We have a vacancy right now in subdivision. It would be a heavier lift with the Thanksgiving holiday, with the shorter turnaround, with all that happening. That said, it was just a compromise, was really what we were going for. Something to help us while still having that extra meeting, still making sure you all have the ability to make the decision on these subdivisions.
Okay.
That said, if this body truly feels that we need to meet in December, we will deliver the work product necessary for you to have a meeting in December.
Okay, so you're agreeing at this point right now, if we delay until January, the staff, will not be making decisions on any of these, is that correct?
Yes.
It would function like a normal meeting.
Great, and then we would meet when in January?
New
7.
Year's Day.
That's a Thursday.
Sure has. Meet on second if you want to. This chair will be empty.
Doug's getting married on the 3rd.
Mine will be too. I don't get back from my trip till the 4th.
Can we at least meet on Owens Glen
That's what he
on December?
recommended. Well, but why go to the trouble of even coming here without all this other?
Yeah.
And you're going to be gone for 2 weeks during the holidays. What difference does January 4th make? And the deadline's the 5th of 2 months ago. You will not meet the 60-day rule in January unless you're meeting on the 2nd or 3rd.
Might I suggest we vote to maybe not about a December meeting, but more stating the December preliminary plans?
Do what?
We're not deciding on whether to have it in December or January. We're deciding on whether or not we review these or we let staff administratively review the applications.
I believe the public should weigh in and have public comment, and you're not going to get that with staff.
I have to agree.
But why do we feel different this year? We didn't feel different last year.
Because you have a different makeup of planning commissioners.
It was a whole lot less applications. Apparently, the developers have figured out the cycle, and they bring all the problematic ones in December.
I believe I
just
said
like
that last
Milton
meeting.
did. And,
That's your opinion.
okay, you get 10 credits. Who gives a crap?
Can I get 12?
No.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Matasifi?
may I make a motion?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I move that we have a regular Planning Commission meeting on December 17th to handle all business that would regularly be transacted at such a meeting in any other month of the year.
I second.
Well, the good part is, it's my decision. Your votes are worthless. Read the bylaws.
I don't think that's the case.
That is the case.
I don't think that is the case.
No.
I
That's
love
not the
we
case.
can overrule
It
the
says that
chairman.
Our regular scheduled meetings are to be held on the 4th.
Read further down. Now, if you give me a minute, you're not letting me finish.
I
Nothing.
apologize. Go ahead then.
Mr. Parham, can you meet on December 17th?
Yes, I can.
At 3 o'clock.
I don't know. I'll have to look, but I can meet at 4:30, which is our normal time we meet.
Normal time. An hour and a half is not going to make a difference, according to staff.
I'm trying to make concessions all the way around. Ms. Phillips, can you meet on December 17th?
You give me the day and time and I'll be here.
You know the question. She answers yes. Mr. Hammond, do you care?
I don't want to, but I will. 3 o'clock makes a hell of a lot more sense than 4:30.
Yeah, I know.
A week before Christmas.
That's okay. Apparently it doesn't. Mr. Moore, can you meet on that day?
I can meet on that day, but 4:30 is better, the public has a better chance to be here.
I know, but this is a rarity. We've talked about this years ago with Paula. We were going to try to move the meeting, and that was her number one excuse. The public has to get off work. And I figured the holidays, we might make an exception. Mr. Matasevic. Okay. Are you good with the 17th?
Yes, I will be happy to be
Mr.
there.
Holland?
I am.
Ms. Manning?
Delighted.
I don't know if that's a...
It's affirmative.
Yeah, we'll take it. I'll take it.
Staff, I believe since we do, these are some really controversial applications. I mean, if there's anything we can do, less packet information, whatever you want to try to help you with. But we need to do the 17th of December. Believe me, I don't want to.
We respect that. Like I said, it was just an attempt to compromise and make sure the meeting was held while still giving us the ability to get you the best information possible. But we'll have everything ready for you on the 17th.
Well, some of these we've seen before.
Oh, really?
So, I mean, it really, oh, hush. I think it's for the best interest of the public.
Certainly.
Concerned. And they're all, we're going to have a tip jar at the door to pay for Christmas for us.
Pay for staff's bonus. Thank you.
I'm still waiting on my bonus. Y'all read the bylaws.
Double your pay.
I call the meetings. A vote's not
Agree to
necessary.
disagree.
Okay.
Knock yourself out. I love it. Take my job, please. Any new business? Any old?
May I ask one question, sir?
Yes, sir.
Is this document online yet? And if so, where?
It is not.
Will it be soon?
No, that's for your consumption right now.
Okay, thank you.
And that means it's not public consumption.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, yeah, you don't want to make copies. and
Neither was that other
library.
thing available to the public when it was quoted. All right, here none. We're adjourned.